go to bed. What a transition.
Hello.
Wow.
God damn.
That was your first time seeing it?
Stebbies.
Yeah.
I feel
yeah,
like I've seen it before, but it just takes my breath away every time.
Yeah. Oh. Hi, chat. Hello.
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 Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming by tonight. I'm so excited to see you all here. And I'm excited to have some wonderful guests with me. Sif, Truck, hi, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome
hello.
to the bar. Yeah. Hi, everyone in chat. Thank you so much to all my regulars for coming by. Thank you so much to everyone from Sif or Trucks communities coming by. Yeah, I really appreciate that. This is always something that's really fun. If it's your first time here, I do this every week usually. It's my sex ed and relationship advice stream. I like to have on a couple VTubers, and we take your questions. Anything that's relationship questions, could be personal situations, it could just be generalized advice, and also sex ed questions. So we focus on answering some things and helping out, people that want our advice, want answers from us. Yeah. But I'm so excited to have you two here. How you both doing? How you doing today?
I'm fine. It's 6 a.m. here and I'm good. I've had 1.5 hours of sleep. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Well,
I hope
thank
you get
you.
a good nap after this.
I'm living off of my gamer subs. Let's go.
Hey, yo.
So you're like
yeah.
90 how much of a percentage of caffeine are you right now?
Oh, it's fine. I'm fine. I don't do coffee, so this is actually good.
No, there you go.
Your bloodstream is just pure gamer subs right now.
Pure gamers.
It's okay. That's mine most of the time too. Well, thank you. I know. Yeah, that's the thing that's always hard for me when I schedule these out and I try to get a lineup of guests, is that there's tons of people that want to join, and then they'll be on a European time zone and I'll say, yeah, it's at 9 p.m. Pacific time, and they'll be like, oh, that's 6 in the morning for me.
Could be
whoops.
worse. It could be worse.
Yeah, and some people are fine. Some people are like, yeah, I'll be up then. And it's I'm up because I get up early, or I'm up because I don't sleep all night. So I'm like, all right.
Yes. That's usually me, because I live on EST.
Yeah. You had a good holiday, both of you?
Yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty low key.
Nice.
Also
nice.
here. Actually, also pretty low-key for me. Went to the family, went back again.
Yeah, same. Nice low-key VTuber holiday where I just stay
Oh,
home
yeah.
and don't do anything. But that's my favorite, personally. Yeah.
And
And y'all excited for New Year's tomorrow?
I'm very
actually.
excited. Got a lot
I
of
have
things
some
planned,
friends
actually.
coming over. Coming
Nice.
over. And then after midnight, they're probably going to leave. And then I'm going to stream until
Hey.
9 a.m. Until 9 a.m. for me. So that I get
Nice.
all of the US. All of the time
That's
zones in the US.
awesome.
Yeah, that's so fun. That's super fun. Yeah, I'll be partying, hopefully, doing something, but yeah, casual per usual. Yeah.
Oh yes, very casual.
Well, like I said, everyone, it is a weekly sex ed and relationship advice stream that we do here. So if you haven't had a chance to ask your questions, you can ask your questions here. Let's see, exclamation point question. There you go. That link, it should work. I know if anyone was trying the link when I first announced the stream earlier today, that it might have been broken, but we did fix it. The website itself had a change for some reason where my name had to be capitalized and it wasn't automating the link as capitalized. So I figured that out. Yeah, but we got it all figured out. So there's the question. If you wanted to ask a question and you haven't yet, you can still do so. We have about 60 questions so far. We usually only get through, depending on how long they are, anywhere between 10 and 15. So we will not be able to answer every question. However, we don't go in order. We kind of go through and I pull some ones that I feel like we might be fun to answer, or might be just a different variety of questions. So go ahead and ask us anything you want to. Obviously within
completely
TOS,
anonymous.
and
Yeah.
try to, word things from if your question is educational because you're trying to ask advice or you're trying to do that, that's fine. Just try to avoid anything that's like personal questions or stuff like that, because that is not what we're here for. Yeah, we're here to give advice on your situations and answer your questions that you might be curious about. Oh, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Oh, Tomoko, thank you. That's so sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you for, what is that, 6 months? Thank you for 6 months. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so we'll be answering some questions. Please forgive us if we don't respond to your message in chat, because generally we will be reading them, and sometimes we'll type a response to them or something, but we don't want to cut each other off or kind of break the flow of the conversation. Yeah, so just be understanding of us as we go through this. All right, so sex ed and relationship advice. Why are you qualified or not so qualified to give us your takes on things, Sif?
so for me, of course I am qualified, since I was promoted last year to a lust goddess. So perfect. That's perfect. It makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Of
absolutely.
course.
Just last year. Promotion time. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah,
For me.
yes,
Oh, go ahead.
please. No, truck, go for it.
Okay, I was gonna say, at least for me, you can consider me qualified or not qualified. I like to consider myself a walking sexual innuendo. So, and I meme a lot. So I'm gonna, take my answers with a grain of salt for the most part. I'm
Okay.
just here to vibe and have fun and help you guys out. If it works and it ends up helping you guys out, then consider me qualified.
You're like, we'll see at the
I
end
believe
if I
you're
was
the most
qualified.
Well,
qualified
by the
here.
end of this?
Pretend you're going to be the most qualified.
Yeah,
By the end of
exactly. Exactly. I like the festive nature we have going on. I said earlier that I did not want to take off my Christmas outfit ever. I love it too much, but I'm just really riding it out as long as I can. And
I love it.
Sif, your Christmas spirit is
My Christmas spirit is the best. It's very bouncy,
nice.
right?
It's
Very
very
nice.
very nice. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so if y'all are ready, we can take a question.
Yeah.
If you wanna.
Oh, but first we're getting a raid.
Oh, Mint! Hi, Mint. Hi, Raiders.
Well, hello,
Just in time.
Raiders.
We were about to take our first question. Hi, Raiders. Welcome on in. How's it going? We're doing a sex ed and relationship
Welcome.
advice stream. If you want to stick around and ask some questions or get the answers to some questions, we're about to start. Yeah.
Neat.
All
First
right.
question.
Let me see. Let's find one that we can start with. All right. Lots of questions today.
Roy, hi.
Hello, Roy. Okay. This isn't a question, but thank
It's my
you.
favorite
Thank you
barista
for,
right here.
Oh, that's
thank
so
you for this
cute.
submission I see here.
You're welcome. That was me.
Yeah? Oh, thank you.
Yes. I was
Thank
curious
you.
how it worked, because I thought I would be able to see my own question afterwards. I was like, I'm just gonna test it.
Okay.
I love
so
it.
we will go. We can go with this one. This is one we actually haven't had on here. So the question is, should you fake an orgasm? Any takes on this one?
That is hard to answer. I feel like, 'cause I'm like, no, of course you shouldn't. You shouldn't have to, because if the person is doing it right, you probably not have to fake it.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that I feel like that's a different kind of problem. That sounds like
Yeah,
yeah.
but then again, I'm also like, if you have to deal with like a person who has real low self-esteem already, I'm like, maybe just so they don't have like they don't keep having losses. It's like, but then of course they don't. I don't think you should fake it, because you should be honest and tell them that, oh, this is not the best, because then they can become better.
Yeah, I definitely think the situation comes more down to like, why do you feel like you need to fake an orgasm? Is it because
Yeah.
your partner isn't doing what you want them to do and they're not able to get you there? Is it because you're putting yourself in a situation you don't want to be in? Like,
Mm.
you know, in
Mm.
in that latter one, like if you're putting yourself in a situation you don't want to be in, don't do that, you know?
Don't even be there.
Yeah.
This is one participation ribbon you don't want.
You want to make sure that you are always communicating like
Mhm.
what you want or don't want. Yeah, if you're ever in a situation where you're feeling like, oh, I don't really want to be here, I just want to, like, you know, be done with it, evaluate why you're putting yourself in a situation in the first place, if it's something that you put yourself in, and then if it comes down to it's someone who's just not doing it for you, are you communicating what you need? Right? Are
Yeah.
you communicating what you want? That's kind of you know, what it comes down to with all this stuff is I always like to stress communication is the most important piece of advice, the most important tool that you can take away from anything that we tell you on any of these shows that we do, is it's always communication. It's always make sure
Yeah.
you're talking to the
Always about
person you're with.
communication.
Yeah. Asking
I would also
questions. Uh-huh.
I would also underline that one thing is faking an orgasm, and one thing is exaggerating or faking your moaning is
Yeah.
not the same.
Very
Yes.
You're
different.
allowed to be very loud because you want to do it. Because technically, it can't, like, for us, I'm just saying me. I like being loud.
Yeah.
I like being loud because it also does something for me, not just my partner. It also does something.
Yeah.
It
I
puts
would
you in the right
argue
mindset.
I would argue that that's not faking. I would argue that that's doing exactly what you want, you know?
It's helping.
Yeah, I think in that respect, yeah, like if it's should you exaggerate or accentuate an orgasm, that's completely up to you. If you like it, if your partner likes it, if you want to do that, that's fine. I don't think there's any harm in that. But I think the idea, yeah, is like, should you, I don't think the question is, should you fake an orgasm? I think the question is, why are you asking this question? And kind of getting to a different sort of answer. But yeah, I think if the situation is, my partner just doesn't really do it for me, should I fake an orgasm to make them feel better? Well, I think the answer is, why is that happening, right? Are you
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
not communicating what you need because you're afraid or embarrassed or whatever? And then I would say, you know, try to work through that. Be honest about your vulnerability. Be honest with your partner that you aren't sure how to communicate things, or that you want them to try something else, or whatever it might be, right? Like, communicate those things. Now, if you're like, well, I've already done that and they just don't listen, then
And
Might want to be
maybe
evaluating
you-
some other things.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say maybe you don't want to be with that partner. Maybe you want a different partner.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think it comes down to. But
Mm. Also,
you,
like,
yeah,
I
you
would also
hopefully-
say that they might just not be able to do it, like, physically.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then there are many tools that can help them. If it's because they don't last long enough, there's many tools to help them in that regard too.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things, and it's all about like open communication with them. Again,
Yeah.
It's all gonna be the root of every question. Are you communicating?
Mm.
And how well are you? Because depending on the relationship that you have with that partner, some people might be a little bit scared to get that vulnerable, like emotionally. If
Yeah.
you know, even in a physical sense.
And I think you bring up another point too when you talk about like it makes me think of people. Some people don't orgasm as easily as others in general, right? Remember that while reaching a climax is nice, it's shouldn't be the goal, right? And if it is
Definitely.
something that you want to achieve, figure out what your body wants, right? Have you spent a lot of time figuring out your own body to see what kind of stimulation you like? Because especially when people kind of haven't been very sexual and they don't know themselves very well, they don't really know what they like or what they're into, what kind of physical stimulation is nice for them. Sometimes people need certain mental stimulations to feel more in the right mindset to be able to orgasm. All of those are things to figure out. So yeah, this is like a really a multi-level question, I feel like.
Yeah.
Very
So
much.
communication.
Very much so.
It all comes down to communication too. Like
Yeah.
communicating with your partner that you can just tell them like, I've never orgasmed before, or I don't orgasm very easily, and
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why, but I just want to let you know so that if I don't, you don't feel bad, right?
Yeah, because to be fair, especially as a for me as a cis woman, I don't necessarily need an orgasm. It feels nice, 100%. It's really good, but like also just doing it feels very nice. It's
Right.
yeah. If you do it correctly.
Yeah.
If you do it correctly, it
Agreed.
feels great.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah, agreed.
And also don't be afraid to if you have a hard time coming, don't be afraid to take out and be like, can we take toys into our relationship? If you're a little bit afraid of that can also help a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely.
Yeah. It's just that for some people it can be like a really hard blow to be told, oh, I need a toy to be able to reach climax, and because you can do it. But this again, just for some people it's really hard.
That's
It's true.
why talking about it's so important. And it's like, hey, it's not because quote unquote it might not even be. It's like, oh, it's not that it's you. It's that it's me, because there might be other factors. It's a very very like layered scenario. Like some people, even like if there's a hint of neurodivergency in there, sometimes it can either happen really quickly or not at all, and you have to really focus on it. And sometimes having some extra sense of stimulation can help.
Yeah. Agreed. Always, just again communicating where you're at and feeling comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable communicating, there's a couple things I say. One is communicate that you're not comfortable. If it comes down to just you're shy, communicate that. It's okay to say, hey, I'm shy. Hey, it's hard for me to be vulnerable, but I want to communicate with you, right? Those kind of things. Yeah, and again, if you have another issue communicating because of bad experiences communicating with that particular partner, then it comes down to reevaluating. Like, there might be more issues there with your partner.
Yeah.
All right. We want to take another one?
Yeah, sure.
I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah. It was a multi-leveled question, multifaceted.
Yeah, this is a good first question.
That was a very good first question.
And for anyone coming in new, if you're like, well, how do I ask a question? There is a question command, ! Question right here. It gives you the link to the forum, and you can pop a question in there and it'll get added to your queue we can look at. All right. Okay, this kind of makes me giggle. I don't know the context of this question, and I don't even know how to answer it. But how much tongue should you use?
That depends on the
location,
physical attributes of the person.
How much?
Hey, yo.
Oh my god, I love your tongue.
That's so sick. I love that.
Sticking out the tongue.
How much tongue should you use? I don't know what you
Location,
mean.
location, location.
Yeah, it depends on location.
Are we talking about
That's
making
the
out?
first thing that I said.
I was gonna say I feel like a lot of people have experienced that make out where you're just like, oh God, why is there so much tongue in my mouth?
There's
True.
didn't expect to be deep throating a tongue right now.
Yeah,
This
you're
is
like-
a little too much.
The person came out. I'm thinking for kissing.
Yeah.
Okay. For kissing.
Yeah.
If we're talking
Yes.
kissing, okay, listen, if we're talking kissing, it's different for everybody, I think. Like some
Yeah.
people I always
like
find
tongue.
that me too. I always find it
I
interesting
like a little bit.
when people say like, "Oh yeah, like I kiss but I don't really use tongue." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Some people like it, some people don't like it. Like it all depends again on communication. But
Mm.
you
I
can also
have
have
had bad tongue.
yeah, you can have like different stages too, cuz sometimes you're making out and then you just have that sort of passionate moment where you're like you just want to go at it for a second, and like you maybe
Yeah.
use a little bit more tongue, and maybe they use a little bit more tongue, and it's kind of
Mhm.
a more aggressive kiss. And
Mhm.
if that's the energy that feels right and it's being reciprocated, because as much as you want to communicate, you want to listen, right? Not only like literally audibly listen, but you want to physically listen to like, body language and how people are kind of reacting. So if you're it's one of those things, right? Like if you're kissing someone and you're being really aggressive and they kind of feel like they're pulling back a little bit, then maybe it's too much.
Yeah.
You can always see, and you can always ask. I feel like this is said every single week, but one of the sexiest things that someone can do is just check in and see if you're liking something, right? Like
Yeah.
the fact that
Big
someone can show
facts.
like they care about you, they care about your, your comfort, your pleasure, like all those things, just to be able to be like, are you
If
having a
you
good
can ask-
time? Like literally just
Yeah.
asking someone if they're having a good
Yeah.
time, asking someone if they're okay, asking someone if that's like, is that okay? Is that too much? Like anything is like that. Like you can always communicate those questions.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so we're talking about kissing, then that's what I would say. Kind of depends
It's
on
all
the
personal
situation.
preference. It's all personal preference, and yeah, like time, place, where, like
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
it is.
I would
How
say
do you ask someone
the
when you're
only-
mid-kiss tongue use? You'd stop. You stop for a second. You stop for a
You're
second.
allowed to breathe.
Yeah.
You put your hand on the side of their face if it's not already there, and you just kind of ask them nicely, are you good? Are you doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
I
You
would
know.
not bite the tongue. I would bite the lip. Lip biting is nice.
Biting
that
tongue,
okay?
is that okay?
Is that
Oh, speaking of biting, oh my god. Yeah, one time I was
Oh,
making
no.
out with this girl at a bar, and she was so drunk, and she was biting my lips so hard. It was hot,
Ow.
but it was
Hard?
also like to the point where it was just like, okay, ow, you're actually like, I don't know if I'm bleeding now. Like I like
I might need to run to
Ow.
the bathroom to check for
No.
teeth marks on my face.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
No, I
it's
think
it's one of those things where you want to be careful about. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can try to experiment with being more passionate about things like that, like doing little bits of I would start with nibbles before you go on to full on bites. Like that's always my
Yeah.
recommendation, whether it's lips, nipples, like any part of a body. See how receptive someone is to nipples, and then you can go a little bit harder, and I mean a little bit, like really just take
Little.
little steps to find especially if it's your first time with somebody like that partner, or exploring that kind of thing with a partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just eat the face. Dude, chat's on one tonight. I love it. Nibble to nibble.
nibble to nibble.
Nibble
Yeah.
to nibble.
That's
And also,
cute.
if you don't have a lot of experience with kissing, like keep in mind that there are other things you can do, right? Especially I guess it doesn't really matter like if you're taking the lead or not. Like you can always take turns. Like you can always kind of like, doing something and then swap with the other person, but it generally when I'm kissing someone, I feel like my hand is always on their head. Like, it's hard for me to
Oh,
imagine.
you do head? Oh.
Like, I feel like a lot of the time when I'm kissing someone, like, as someone who typically is taking the lead, I feel like my hand is, like, on the back of someone's head, sometimes gripping the base of their hair, sometimes on the side of their face. But, like, with my hand, I mean, unless my hand is exploring other places, which happens sometimes. It really depends on what's going on. But the lead of the kiss, typically, the start of the kiss is typically that. It's like hands around the face, something like that. And then you can stop kissing someone, and with your hand there, you can kind of turn their face to kiss them on the cheek and lead the way down to the neck and kiss on the neck.
So good.
You know what I mean? You can do things like that. Like, you can, there's a lot you can do with kissing and the area of, like, the foreplay with the mouth around, like, the head, neck area. Some people like ear nibbles, some people don't.
Have you had, like, one person be like, no?
I haven't had anyone say no, but I had a girl one time who, one of her kinks was, like, deep tonguing, like, an ear. So and I had never experienced it, and it's a strange feeling. I didn't hate it, but, like, when I experienced it the first time and she just, like, stuck her tongue in my ear, I was just like, wow, this is vulnerable. This is yeah, it was
like,
in there.
I think it feels fine and nice, but it's surprise ear for surprise tongue in ear is not fun.
Yeah, I think surprise
it's
anything
more the surprise.
is generally
is like,
not
hello.
good. Yeah, it can be, but the chances of it being good as opposed to not being good are usually not something you want to take. Yeah, generally you always want to ask to make sure someone is okay with something.
Also, as a small person, I would always advise to sit down and kiss, because then you can, if you like taking the lead, it's easier than if you're standing up, because you can't really reach anywhere if you're too small.
Yeah. Or if you're the taller person and your partner is short, like, you have to imagine
you're
they're
hunched
craning
over like
their
a shrimp.
neck. You're hunched over. They're craning their neck the whole time, like.
Yeah. It's just easier if you're sitting down.
Either pick them up or sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Just imagine, like, you must have you must be really strong.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've heard ear eating ASMR for, I didn't even think about that. It was like I was getting personal ear licking ASMR before it was a thing. Damn.
Oh my god. Before it was a thing.
Maybe that's why I'm not a big fan of ear licking on ASMR. Maybe it brings back the deep rooted.
It brings back a little bit of it triggers a memory.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't, I don't know. It was an interesting feeling, but it was communicated and I was okay with it and I didn't hate it and I knew that she liked it. So I was like, okay, sure. Like, lick away.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think another thing, so when I bring up stuff like tongue, neck kissing and stuff like that, different people have different sensitivities, right? And this goes for all kinds of body parts, armpits, feet, neck, like
and
the tickle
ears.
zones, right? Ears, like the tickle zones typically on people. You have to imagine that for the most part, lighter touching on those tickle sensitive zones is usually what triggers that. So when it comes to like neck kissing, a lot of the time too light of a kiss, like a light like graze of the tongue sometimes can send someone into like oh god, that tickles, and then they go into like that sensitive overdrive mode where they're not really receptive to neck kissing. A lot of
becomes tickling.
Yeah, I was gonna say from my experience, if someone's gonna kiss my neck, I like it when it's a bit more, I don't want to say rough, because I don't mean like a
then
I would
rather have a bite.
Yeah, not like a hickey, but like more pressure with the tongue with a kiss is generally a nicer sensation than like a lighter sort of kiss or like little lip smooches, because that can tickle more. But again, it's all communication, because that's just me and my body and my sensation versus like somebody else. Like again, it's all about It's all about communicating that. But I find generally if touches and things are too light on those like potential tickle zones, that's what triggers that. So just something to keep in mind for
Oh yeah,
people that
100%.
It's kind of like a
Yeah.
fuck around and find out if you're too light and then you get a shoulder in the jaw.
Yeah.
You fucked up.
Actually, that is so true. Oh my god, never mind.
It's like, you know, I'm a very, very like ticklish person, so it's like if someone's very light in that area, oh yeah, nope, shoulder's going right in the jaw, and it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm a knee person. I have given plenty of knees to the nuts. Just don't come near me.
Oh my gosh. Like
heard
the
it all
Sif,
night.
no. All right, let's see.
Why did that make me laugh so hard?
Because I'm a squirrel. That's why.
So funny.
Hey,
Don't wait again.
don't tickle me. You can like that's actually being ticklish is actually a good thing when it comes to like to sex. I feel because you're susceptible to like sensual touch also all over the body. I feel.
Mm.
Yeah.
Kind of like a
Like-
it's kind of like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, because if the person knows how to touch you, they can almost make anywhere body parts into an erogenous zone, which is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That took a turn because we started off with tongue.
Yeah.
It did.
All right, I have another one. Kind
We'll
of
still
kind
say
of on
depends on
communication.
location.
Yeah, kind of on communication and how to talk about something. But it says, while I
Oh.
was single, I got into the habit of eating my own cum. Now I started dating this girl, and I would love to eat my stuff off of her. How do I go about telling her?
Oh,
Okay.
that is. How does she feel about eating your cum?
That's kind of the question here, right? When it comes to cum play,
Yeah.
it's communication. Anything, right? Like anything that is your kink and you have a partnership. Like look, there's nothing to feel bad about in this situation. If you
No.
enjoy eating cum, that's fine. Like there's no
Yeah.
there's no issue there. How do I go about
It's
telling her? I think that's the real question here, right?
Yeah.
That,
Like,
yeah,
if
I
she's
think that's
willing
the
to
real
have you
question.
come over her, I think you are. But if she's like, the problem is if she hates the liquid. Do you know,
Yeah.
like, that is, then I can see that there might be a problem that will,
Hmm.
Yeah, like,
I think you just,
It definitely
you just
comes
need to
down to
tell
the
her.
comfort, because there are two things here that come to mind that I think the person asking might be worried about. And yeah, so one of them is what you said, like, are they okay with, right? Are they okay with being cummed on? Because if that is a situation, if that, like, that's something that needs to be communicated, right? Like, or if you
Mhm.
know they're already okay with it, then okay, that's, one thing down. But obviously they have to consent, like, in any situation of doing anything with a partner, like, the partner needs to consent to whatever the thing might be, and you need to make sure you communicate and you find out. When you want to say, how do I go about telling her? It's just, let her know, like, hey, I have something that I'm into and I wanted to bring it up to you. And it's not the most common kink, so I didn't know how to tell you. Like, you can say that, I didn't know how to bring it up, or I didn't know how to tell you, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
You
Especially
can just say,
if it's still like newer. I think
Yeah.
that like the way that Marina phrased it is great. It's just having that conversation, like, hey, this is something that I'm into, and I wanted to know if you're open to trying it.
Yeah. Because I think there might also be a sense of shame
Hmm.
this person
There's
is
nothing to be
feeling
sh-
since he
there's
is.
nothing to be shameful about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's. I don't think it's common. It's definitely not common, but it like
No.
being afraid of to touch your own or to take it in the mouth. If you're ever gonna get a blowjob, you're gonna have to not be afraid. Like it's at least for the person who does it to then be rejected afterwards if they want to kiss. That's just not fun.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like it might be like a, are you sure about it? Like, it's like, or not even a, are you sure? Like, kind of like a, I feel like there's a thing, like, they might be into it because, like, some people, like, some cis men would be like, oh, you take it in the mouth and then you try to give them a kiss afterwards and they're like, nope, that's gross.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, if you started dating this new girl, they might be into it, might be a little bit more receptive of it because, like, she'll never have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely just communicating. Like,
Yeah.
if what I imagine your biggest worry might be is communicating something like, oh, I like to do this. I like, I like the taste of cum. And then your fear might be that she goes, ew. One, I just feel like that's not likely with people. Two, if that was the response, it doesn't really sound like a great person. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, if you're dating somebody and their response to that, like, you being honest and vulnerable with them is that, like, that's one thing. Now, it's okay. Like, I'm gonna tell you, it's okay for them to say, I'm not really into that, and then you have to just take that for what it is, right? Yeah. Alex, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. You have to take it for what it is. So if they say, I don't want to do that or anything, right? I don't want to do X, you just have to be okay with that, right? And always in any relationship, if X is super important to your sexual needs, then that becomes you evaluating, as unfortunate as it might be, if this is the right relationship for you, right? If you are someone where this has been built up and become a strong sense of your sexual identity and your sexual preferences, and you end up with someone who just doesn't want any part of it, but for you, it's just where your sexual identity is. Like, it's a big part of it, right? If that's the case, then, you have to make a choice. Is it important enough to you where you end your partnership, or do you not indulge in it, kind of thing, right? But you can't force it. You can't pressure. You just have to bring it up.
Be very
Absolutely.
be lightly about it. Don't be like, because a lot of people can feel pressured, and I can also understand the like, if the girl technically, like, is also not into like the taste of cum, and she's like, oh, but if you eat it, like, this is actually the opposite of what Truggy just described with the situation that a lot of cis men don't want to kiss afterwards, but it could also be in this case, the opposite, that she's not comfortable with it, technically, because not everyone is willing to swallow, and that's also okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's just communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bring it up, like, lightly. Nick, you can also bring it up during sex. If you say, oh, I really want to come on you, first of all, and then after you've done it, you can ask before you end, can I do this? Yeah.
I agree.
Sometimes they're also, like, super into it. If they're super into it, it might surprise them, but they might be like, yeah, let's go.
You never know. You never know until you ask.
Yeah. But if they say no, don't do it.
Yeah, if they say no, don't do it.
Yeah. Very important. If you get a flat no, don't do it.
Okay. Here's the question. What do you do about a partner who's toxic but really good at sex?
You throw them out.
Sorry. No.
I'm sorry.
Yeet. Yeet.
Yeah.
There are tons of people who are really good at sex.
Yes. And
Call me, I'll
not
run them
all
over
of them
for
are
you.
toxic.
Yeah, right. Find yourself someone who's good at sex but not toxic, or find
Exactly.
someone who's not good at sex and just communicate with them so they can figure out the things that you
And they
need
can be
and,
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
I
feel like that's
honestly
very easy off the treadmill, but
I honestly think the only real major thing that makes people not good at sex is that they don't communicate or they don't listen.
Mm.
Right? I think that's it. Because I think if anyone
Mm.
is willing to communicate or listen, like it's not really up to anything else, you know? Because there are
are
so
you really
many
good at
things.
sex?
And it's not even about being good at sex, it's about maybe someone isn't receptive to the things that you want or are important to your sexual identity. And if you don't line up, it doesn't mean that either of you are not good at sex. It just means that maybe you're not a good match, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Compatibility.
that's the most important thing to me. Yeah. Hi, Chizo. Nice to
Yeah.
see you.
Hey, Juzo.
I know that toxic, like the thing is that it's just really hard in general to get out of toxic relationships. So just saying, I know that just saying put him in the trash that's not easy. But I would just really recommend that you think about it, and is it really worth it? Is this sex really worth your, I don't know how bad it is, but if they're getting you depressed and like constantly keeping you in like a state of anxiety, then get them out, please. Sex can't be worth that much.
I
Sex
agree.
can't be worth your mental health.
All right. Anything else to add on that one?
No, not really.
I think we covered like the basis of it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it seemed kind of simple, but at the same time, it's like they're not worth your mental health. It can't be that good that it's worth your mental health.
Yeah. All right. Can food ever be used in sex, like Jello or something?
Who can? Oh my god! I actually talked to my chat about this not long ago.
Okay.
Food should be used with caution because it's very unhygienic.
Good answer.
Very good answer.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
put it in places. Actually, I can already tell. The reason why I say this is because I have a horror story. It's not.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's a horror story, not about me, but I heard from someone else.
Okay.
When they put tuna in there. Yeah. I don't know why, but I was like,
what?
and then, tuna? Yes, tuna.
It's not even like it's a sweet or something. Tuna?
No, yeah, tuna. It's so gross. It's so gross.
What? Put the fish in the fish.
Is there any more context to this?
No. That's just a horror story I heard.
It smelled like fish for me.
Oh my god.
And also, it was canned tuna, not like sashimi or sushi.
Oh my god, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
and like from my what I heard from my friend was that it smelled so bad. Like it started smelling, like so she walked around and it was smelling so bad. Oh. Yeah. So don't put stinky things in another place.
Maybe they wanted their partner to break up with them. Maybe it was like a sabotage, right? Like, how do I get my partner to break up with me easily? I'm just gonna say I'm really into putting tuna in my coochie now, and then it'll happen eventually, right? Like,
I guess if the person has a really strong smell fetish, it could make sense, but I'm still like, why?
but tuna, like, yeah. What if that was it? What if the partner was like, I really am into the smell of like
tuna?
a fishy coochie, and then the reality is coochie doesn't really smell fishy.
Doesn't smell fishy.
No, like ever. Like someone has to be severely like sick for it to like smell something that's even remotely close to that. So maybe they're like, oh, I'm into fishy coochie, and they're like, well, it doesn't smell like that, so I'll throw some fish in there.
Oh, God.
Not a good idea.
No, not
Yeah.
a good idea.
But back to the question: can your food ever be used in sex? And yes, it can. Actually, because I ended up talking about body sushi.
Yeah.
Body sushi is pretty good, sexy. But there's also whipped cream and strawberries and chocolate is like, the traditional things.
Yeah.
But you're also bringing up Jello, and I've heard that you can use Jello, but I'm not very familiar with how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, and this goes for not just food play, but anything pretty much out of the ordinary, and even ordinary sex, you should always make sure that you have done proper research and education before doing anything, right? Whether it's something more extreme, like people that want to use rope or tie people up, that is one of the most commonly, I feel like, dangerously done things that people don't actually do research.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'll just tie someone up with a rope instead of like
Yeah.
actually
my
learning
God.
what
They
you're
don't
supposed
know
to
that
do.
you have to, and they don't know you have to
Yeah.
use proper rope because normal rope actually just burns you.
Yeah, and so there's all
Yeah.
kinds of things that are like that, but food is no different, right? Like, if you're interested in using food play, you might be like, oh, that's easy, but yeah, you don't realize that
No, it's not.
food is meant for your mouth, and so putting food in other places that are like mucous membranes, or that have their own like ecosystem, like a vagina does or like an anus does, like,
It can really mess you up.
yeah, there might be problems, and ultimately it's something that you need to research, right? Find out in your research, is it safe to put blank, right, in this area? Like, find out what it is. Now, the most safe stuff, obviously, is putting something like on an area that is not a mucous membrane, that is not an orifice, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like
whipped
the
cream
tits or
on
the
some
chest.
boobies. Yeah, like whipped
Yeah.
cream on a
Yep.
chest, chocolate sauce on a chest, or on a tummy, or in a back, or whatever, stuff like that. Like, that's all fine, but obviously, again, communication and research for anything that you do, because yeah, I've seen videos before where people put like candy in their vaginas, and
What?
that's also
Yeah.
like not good. Like, it's
not
not
safe.
good to be putting things.
There are candy made for sex, and I would definitely, if you want to do that, look into it. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just communicate too, because not everyone's into it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's definitely something to talk about beforehand.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think. I would definitely not like.
That's not
someone
even
to
like a
be
during. That's
"Hey,
like
I
a
have can of
beforehand. Like
tuna."
we're planning this. Yeah, the tuna. I still am so stuck on the tuna right now.
yeah, that sounds not good. That sounds
That
like a
doesn't sound
bad
fun.
time.
It just sounds like a nightmare, like a medical nightmare afterwards, because they had to fix it.
Yeah, it sounds like an infection. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
It does sound like an infection
yeah.
waiting to happen.
Proper
Yeah.
research in Helen, but yeah, food can be used. How to use it? Google it very intensively.
Yeah.
What can
Agreed.
and cannot be used? Google.
Yeah, that's really like one of the most important things. And with certain things, like, again, like rope play, they literally offer classes. Like, you can,
Oh, shibari classes.
Yeah.
I really want to try it someday.
for certain more common kinks that could be more dangerous and stuff like that, like shibari, there are classes and things that you can find. So I would always recommend, especially if you're in like, a city center or something, like you can probably find stuff like that. Because
I
it's
have
better
researched.
to know what you're doing. Anything that involves like your physical body or whatever is always important to do that proper research. The other thing I will say is, remember, when you're having any kind of sexual interactions with another person, there are two people involved. So you should both be educated, right? And I
Yeah.
would, especially with new partners, I would never trust someone telling you, oh yeah, no, I know what I'm doing, or I know everything. Like, you have to make sure you have that level
No.
of trust, or you actually know they're the kind of person that's gone and done research and done that stuff and whatever, and you build up that trust. Please, for your own sake, don't just trust that, the person you met on Tinder that wants to meet up with you is Shibari certified or whatever. Like, it's like,
Mm.
you.
Unless they show up with their certification, I don't want to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. Like you.
I would just.
Because
Yeah, I
you
would
need to
just
be
wait.
educated too. In general, like what
Yeah.
I would say is that it's not really enough for only one person to be educated on these things. Like both people need to be educated. So instead of like, oh, you're Shibari certified, come over and tie me up, it would be, hey, can we go over that sometime? Can you
Yeah.
teach me some things? Like literally just in conversation form, not like a, can you teach me some things? And they're like, yeah, I'll teach you something, wink, wink, and then they pull out the rope, like you know what I mean? Like you, in a real actual sense of discover and explore things together in a safe way, that is informational before it moves into in practice, because that's really
Mhm.
important. Yeah.
Also, in general, Shibari is actually a really good example of something where it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to have sex.
Yeah.
Correct.
You just have to practice it together and enjoy it together.
Yeah.
Just
Agreed.
the art. It's like an art in and of
It's
itself.
so art.
I do know
It's
somebody
so
that is like a
pretty.
Shibari artist, and it's so cool.
Yeah. All right. It's been about an hour. I wanted to check in and see if anyone. Do we want to take a 5-minute BRB or anything, or we want to keep going for a bit?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm okay. I got some
You good?
water.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still also
All
got
right. We'll
water.
answer some more questions. I'll check in a bit. Okay. Okay. This is a bit more just social, emotional, potentially relationship.
Okay.
I personally find socializing very energy consuming, so I'm not down to talk with people all the time, but that usually slows and leads to drifting apart from people. How do I get more energy to socialize? Any advice on this, or anyone relate to this?
As an introvert, like
I was like, I'm introverted.
yeah, but do you have to? Like, I know it's like, and that might be the way I experience like relationship. I don't necessarily need to talk to people all the time, but that is not. That is, of course, not the same. It's with everyone, but I usually find people that are like me who are also who not necessarily have the need to always be in contact. So I don't really feel like you can try and force yourself to be more extroverted, but that's just going to take more energy from you.
I
Yeah.
would say instead of like forcing yourself to have that energy that an extrovert has, I mean, if your desire is to actually like put yourself out there a little bit more and maybe step outside of your comfort zone, then really prioritize your recharge time where you need to be alone and not talking with somebody. Because that's something that I personally do. Like, I'm a very introverted individual. I have maybe a few people that I can kind of get energy off of, but like, slowly, and like, you don't have to change that about yourself. If you receive energy by being alone and having a moment to relax, slowly make it like, it's, I don't know. I feel like people nowadays, like, with like technology and stuff, like, it's so easy to be in contact all the time, but even that can be draining. Sending texts
100%.
all the time, like, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not an extrovert, so like, I can only give an introvert's opinion on this case, but like, if that's what you really desire, you really want to have some more like, social experiences, then while you're doing that, make sure you're prioritizing or even scheduling in some time, some alone time to recharge with like a book or a video or whatever it is you do to keep yourself calm and re-energized.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good point to make is
Mm.
it kind of depends where are you coming from, right? If you are looking to get more energy, Chuck gave some really great advice. If you feel like you need to get more energy because of social pressure, that's a different problem, right?
Yeah.
That's that you need the reassurance of you don't need to do that, right? Do you
Mm.
have friends that make you feel bad because, well, you're not around enough, you don't talk to me enough, you don't hang out with me enough? Listen,
Oof.
different people are different. Some
Yeah.
people have certain things where they end up feeling self-conscious and they feel like if you're not giving them enough attention that they're somehow doing something wrong or they're somehow inadequate as a friend. That's on them. That's not on you, right?
Hmm.
Ultimately,
100%.
ultimately you need to find people who are a good fit for you. And it's hard because
Mm.
sometimes you make friendships with people and you don't realize till you're close that they have certain needs in a friendship that you can't fulfill, and then people start butting heads. But don't be guilted. Don't be guilted based on your
Yes.
social needs that you need to behave differently. Because that just needs to be communicated. Like, hey, I'm very introverted. You know?
Mm.
Right.
And if that's going to make us drift apart, then I can't really do anything about that. But I really look for friends that can just be my friend no matter what, even if I need to take a week to myself or a couple days to myself or whatever
Yeah.
it might be. Like, that's just going to be who I am as a friend. And if that's not enough for you, then that's not enough for you. Like,
Mhm.
that's kind of the mindset where you need to make sure that you have. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also okay to acknowledge that not all of your friends are going to be energy givers. It's and
Right.
also be honest to them about it, because I can also sometimes feel bad that like one of my best friends, they actually are an energy taker from me. Even though they're one of my best friends, I can't be with them for a long period of time,
Mm.
which is a little bit sad, but they're still one of my best friends. We have so much in
Right.
common. When we are together, it's fun. But I also have to tell them, oh, I need some time for myself now.
Yeah. I think there's also like a weird stigma around introverts that they need to be more extroverted to,
Right.
they need to put themselves way more out there because an extrovert for whatever reason is incapable of getting out of their comfort zone and, maybe toning things back or I don't
Yeah.
understand. It's like
I do see that a
anytime it's
lot.
like I mean, I've even had like conversations with friends where I'm like, "Hey, I'm really introverted," and they're like, and I'm like, I feel like I can get shunned from the conversation because, I don't feel like there's a place for me to really jump in because these, 2, 3 people are like controlling the conversation. And they're like, oh,
Right.
well, just speak up. That's always the answer is just speak up. I'm
Oh
like,
god. Yeah.
but
It's an extremely
that's
insensitive
not how that
take. Yeah.
works.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, needless to say, I don't really hang out with them anymore. But
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of like a thing. Like and I really love almost I actually really like this question because it's like I don't know. If socializing is very energy consuming, like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just what consumes your energy. If you want
Mm.
to dedicate some time to that, go into it knowing that it's going to take some energy out of you.
Right.
And then honestly, if you find the right people to socialize with, even
Oh,
as an
it's so
introvert, you can
good.
get some energy from some really, really amazing people.
Yeah.
Because I can find myself like I like being alone, but there are some times where I really don't want to be alone, and I have like 1 or 2 people that I can always call, and just be like, can we just sit together?
Yeah.
Oh my God, sitting together with someone in silence.
Sitting together doing nothing, being muted
Yes.
on a Discord call, absolutely nothing happening, and it's just like quality time.
Yeah. It's
Maybe not for
comfort.
them, but for
Yeah.
me, it's very.
But for me,
comforting.
it's just like, oh man, I've spent so much time with my friend today. What did you do? Nothing. It's great.
Yeah. Just
But also,
presence
you
of being
know,
there.
I would say also online relationship doesn't take it does take energy, but it doesn't take as much energy from me.
Oh yeah,
As
online
as
texting isn't. Actually,
yeah.
I can't say that. I can't say that. Sometimes texting feels like the absolute most draining thing at the time. I'm horrible
Yeah.
at getting back to people. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, I have 3 DMs. I'm just gonna wait until I'm ready to answer all of them at the same time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then the ADHD kicks in. I forget that they're there, and then I'm like, oh my god, I
Oh
gotta DM this
no,
person
yeah.
back. 3
Yeah.
days later,
That's
oops.
Yeah.
me. The waking
know,
up and looking
totally.
at my messages on Discord, and then me looking 3 months later, and they're like, "I thought you hated me because you never replied," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm such a piece of shit." Yeah.
I do the same thing. I'm like, oh my god, I feel like they must hate me at this point. I am such a piece of shit.
I always
I
tell
have started
everyone.
being rude. I have started being rude to people like you and just being like, after 3 days, I'm just gonna ask the same question.
That's
Do you
what we
hate me?
need, or like that's what I need. Okay,
Yeah,
me
I
in
need
that.
general, I need like, and I apologize. Like I will admit, like it's my own shortcoming, and I don't want to put the responsibility on anybody else. But if someone wants a response from me or needs a response from me, like it is okay to just message me. Like if it's important, message me a day later and say like, hey, just checking in because it's kind of urgent, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
but yeah, sometimes it happens and I just need someone to send me another message because it's hard for me with my ADHD to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
what I noticed. So that's why
Valid.
I started doing it. 'Cause
No,
it was like,
honestly,
oh,
I need
yeah.
that.
Oh, people like, because I don't really mind if people don't answer, or
Yeah.
like answer late. But I'm like, I also realized, oh yeah, I also do myself sometimes by accident, or I have more of a I forget to press send curse.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Same.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Oh,
Where I'm
yeah,
like,
I've
oh,
done
I
that.
answered you. I'm so sorry.
The worst is I type something out and then I'm like, oh, let me just copy this link, and I go to do it and then I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
Twitter feed, and I forget.
Yes,
And
I do
then-
that too.
7 days later I look back, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, or like,
Marina,
I
I've
get
been meaning to
reminded
send
that.
you an invite for 3 days to a server.
Oh my god.
3 days. I've been like, oh yeah, let me just grab this link, and then I go into like 7 different. Like I am so like, I can't. I do the same shit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It just happens.
Yeah.
I love
that's
this
how
question. This has been my favorite question. That and the tuna story.
Oh my god, not that.
So sorry that I had to bring this up to chat. I'm so sorry. I've scarred you for life now.
You know what I wish? I wish that and this might exist, but I want a Discord extension or a Discord mod that can tell if it's someone's first time messaging me, or if like I haven't messaged this person in a long time. It'll just send an auto response on my part that's like, you know how they're like, I'm out of the office right now. It'll be like a thanks for messaging me. This is an automated response. If for some reason I don't reply back to you, feel free to check in again with me. I'm not ignoring you. Like,
I'm not
You
ignoring
can
you.
get that, don't you think so?
like that
I
would
think
be
you can
great.
get an auto reply. I think you can
I,
find an auto reply extension for Discord.
Does anyone in chat know? Has anyone ever seen that? I should
Is there a
look. I
bot?
should see. That would be really
Yeah,
cool.
Discord
Though.
mods, Discord admins, where y'all at?
Yeah, because obviously I don't want it to auto respond to every message I get in a conversation.
Right.
But like, if it had a
Mhm.
smart sensor of knowing, like, oh, you haven't talked to this person in over 2 weeks or something.
I feel like that's a bot thing that you could, like I feel like that's a bot
Yeah.
thing that like could potentially you could set it like, oh, if I didn't respond to this person and it's been like a week or like it's been 2 days or something like that, it's like, hey, there's a good chance that I opened Twitter or something like you like it can
Yeah.
trigger that automated response.
I also sometimes do double and both do Twitter and Discord.
Yeah, same.
Because sometimes people are like, oh, no one, like, they forget Discord, but then they're like, oh, wait, I have something on Twitter. That is because most people write on Discord. I'm like, yes, I got you. I caught you. Yeah, I'm learning to face for you guys because I know that it's the ADHD. So I'm like, yeah, I have to be more rude. I don't say that it shouldn't be my responsibility,
And it's
but
not
I'm just
even
like,
rude.
it's
not
fine.
Even, yeah, it's
not even rude.
It's yeah. I don't think there's anything rude about checking in with people, because even in business, even when like I worked in the entertainment industry
Yeah.
years ago, and I would send a lot of emails out to people, stuff like setting up meetings or checking in on meetings, and it's shocking how many professional business people, like CEOs, executives, like stuff like that, just drop the ball on things sometimes. Like, just don't respond to things or whatever. And you just have to send a message, you know? A day or two later, you usually have like in business like that, there was like a 3-day grace period where like after if it wasn't urgent, after like 3 days, there would be hey, just wanted to follow up on this. That would be and that's all the email says. And that's what I do on Discord DMs. Like, I'll be like, hey, just want to check in on this, or just want, like that's something that I've adopted, and I use that in my life when it comes to whatever. If I just communicate with someone and I send someone a Discord DM and I know that I need a response from them and I haven't gotten one, I'll check in with them. Yeah. And I love when people do that to me.
I think it's awesome. It's like it's wonderful because I'm like, oh my god, like even though I forgot to message this person, they still are interested in whatever they had to say to me, and like they still want to talk, or even if it was at like a bad time or something like that, they still want to check in on this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
How many times do you check in before you decide it's intentional? How many times do you check in before you assume someone's intentionally ignoring you? Like twice.
I would say
I feel like
3 times, I think.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times. If I
2
get
or 3
the
strikes,
third,
yeah.
if I get the third message, even if I get a second message checking in from someone, I'm like, oh fuck, like I will literally drop what I'm doing at that point to respond to them. Because it's very rare that if I don't respond to someone right away and I see the message, understandable. Sometimes I can't. Someone checks in with me, I'll be like, fuck, I really gotta get back to them. But by that second time, yeah, like I'm literally forcing myself to respond, even if it's usually after the first time I will say something like, I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I need to check on this. Let me get back to you. Feel free to bug me. I usually say that, like, feel free to bug me. That's what I try to be better about that now. I try to be better about knowing that if I can't respond to someone right away because I don't have the information I need, that I say that I need to get back to you, but feel free to check in with me if you don't hear back from me. Just so people don't feel that pressure. Like, I don't want to bug Marina. Like, no one's ever bugging me. Like, I want people to follow up with me. Yeah. All right.
Good question. Good question.
I love that there's
Yeah,
always
it is a good
layers to
one.
these questions. It's like there's layers to the answers that we give. It's like we'll talk about this, and then it brings up another topic in relation to the question. So it's like you guys are getting like multi-layered answers. And tuna.
And tuna.
Oh my god, no more tuna, please.
Sorry.
Please, no more tuna.
Was the tuna raw or was it like tuna salad? Did it have mayo for lubricant?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
I think you didn't you say that it was like canned tuna?
Yeah.
Oh.
But that could still go in a tuna salad.
Yeah, what if it was like mixed up with mayo and like shoved
like
up
mayo,
there?
pickles, onions,
God.
like oh my god.
And then they walk over, they're like, hey babe, you want a sandwich? And they just they squat over a piece of bread and they just like, it just goes, and it just like pops out onto the bread and they grab the other piece and top it and hand it over.
Oh my god.
Is that hot chat or no? If your partner does that, if your partner does that and makes you a sandwich fresh, are you there for it?
Stop. I've not eaten tuna in a while, and this is making me consider not going for it.
I love canned tuna. Now I'm same.
Oh my god.
This is making me reconsider my lunch choices. I'm never gonna be able to eat like a tuna salad or even a chicken salad. They look the same.
Like,
I'm never gonna be able to eat like a tuna salad the same.
Sometimes you're afraid of forgetting your lunch pail, so you just pop it up there, so it's in a nice, safe, warm place for later.
No.
Keep the crackers in your cleavage, and you have everything ready to go.
Oh my god.
It's like Subway's Eat Fresh.
Eat fresh.
I hate it here.
The forbidden
tuna.
All right. Okay, we want to take another one?
Yeah.
Okay. After a shitty ending to a nice relationship, I started to see someone I was talking to about a month ago before I felt like my previous was worth exploring more.
Mhm.
I kind of want to be upfront and tell them about it, but also don't want them to feel like a rebound is there. Oh, I see. I want to tell them
Oh,
about it, but I don't want them to feel like a rebound. Is there a good way to bring it up, or should I
Yeah.
wait? Let me see this again. After shitty ending to a nice relationship, I started to see someone I was talking to. I started to see
these,
someone there's like no punctuation in this, and
yeah,
it's like
no
making my brain
punctuation.
explode.
So
Use
okay,
comma,
I think I'm
please.
getting it here.
I was
It's
talking
like
about a month ago before I felt like my previous worth explaining there. Okay.
yeah, so it's like they were already talking before they got into a relationship with somebody else.
Mm.
And now
Okay.
that relationship is over, they're talking again, so it kind of feels like a rebound.
Yeah,
It could kind of come across as a rebound situation.
they don't want them to feel like they rebound. They just don't want
Yeah.
to.
It's like things with that other person that they just broke up with felt like exploring at a different time, and then now that it's a little bit later.
Yeah.
Oh.
Personally, I think your actions speak louder than words. And I think that people can usually tell when attention and engagement interaction is superficial, or whether it's genuine.
Mm.
So what I would say is I don't necessarily think you need to bring up like, hey, I was dating someone else in the meantime and I don't want you to feel like a rebound. If you, for whatever reason, feel like they might feel that way, or they bring up anything like that, even as a joke, you might want to bring up like, hey, I don't know if I needed to bring this up or say this, but I've been worried that you might feel like I was only talking to you as like a rebound or something because I was dating that person or because I was talking to that person and things didn't work out. And I want you to know I really genuinely like you. And it's just timing. It has nothing to do with like, I don't want you to feel like I'm using you or anything like that because I do really genuinely like you. And I just wanted to make sure that I said that to you so that you didn't feel like there was any ulterior motives. I would say
I
communicate
really
something
like
like
that
that.
answer.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a really
communication
good
is not
answer.
just I was gonna say like communication not just verbally, but like in your actions. Like they will show that and they will prove that. So if you're really not, talking to them like they are a rebound,
Yeah.
then like, they should, people can read off of energy. Like, yeah. I don't see how that could I like Marina answered it perfectly.
Yeah. Sorry. Sonia like Jerry's comment.
The rebound to the tuna. Oh no.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You were being so serious, and I'm just like, oh god.
I don't want to worry about being the rebound to the tuna.
I need art of you.
You need art.
Truck like
Art.
as a Spamazon delivery, and you're just holding a case of tuna and you're like bringing it to Sip's place.
I'm bringing it to Sip's house. Yes.
I'm gonna know. I'm never. You're not getting over my door.
I need that. I need that.
Oh my gosh.
It could be really funny. Actually, the funny
That
would
could be really
it
fucking
would be
funny.
funny if you were bringing the tuna and it was just sitting on the other side of the door, being like in foster position, holding like.
I'm never eating tuna again. You
Oh my
ruined
gosh.
tuna for me.
The only footlong I'm putting up there is a tuna sub from Subway.
I like tuna though. That's my problem.
The amount of people that are saying they're never eating tuna after this is just so amazing.
I love that. Oh, we've
Reminds
done...
me of like the 7TV emote Joel. It's just a fish spinning.
Oh my gosh.
He's great.
Yes, I love that one. All right. Anyone have anything else to add on this question?
I thought you rounded off really well.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let me see what else we have here.
I want to eat tuna again. Yes.
Never eating tuna again. I mean, I'm vegan, so I wouldn't anyway.
Okay, I can take a question that I don't really have a lot of experience in. I don't know either of you do. But also I'm curious for chat's insight because there may be people in chat that kind of have a take on this too. But
Mhm.
this deals with poly relationships, which I am not poly. So
Oh.
I don't have a lot of background in this.
I am not poly either.
Okay.
I'm not poly, but I have friends that are.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I
can
also have
tackle this and kind
few
of give our take
friends.
on this. So this says, I see myself as polyamorous, but there's a part of me that feels very uncomfortable around my metamor or my girlfriend's primary, who happens to be a tall cis white man, while me and my girlfriend are both trans femme POCs. How do I
Mhm.
get over this discomfort / fear of my metamor? Am I in the wrong, or should my girlfriend be more considerate of my feelings?
Ooh.
If anyone wants to throw
So,
anything,
That's
you can go ahead and answer. Otherwise, I can take anything.
like, my question is, has this person done anything on purpose to make this person feel uncomfortable?
yeah. I think a huge thing in polyamorous relationships, at least from like what I've witnessed, is that communication is so important between you and your partner. And I don't know, like I didn't know like the term metamor was a thing. So
Yeah, the
your
definition according
girlfriend-
to
so it's your
Google is your lover's lover or your
Yeah.
partner's partner.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Your
not
partner's
your
partner.
partner.
it's your partner's partner.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like, communication is all about the same thing, whether you were the first partner or the second partner, it doesn't matter. Like, communication amongst, like, what is okay, what is not okay, boundaries, especially if there's anything with, if all of you are out in public together, like, there are things that, like, some people are just not comfortable seeing. Communication is huge in situations like this.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
understanding your boundaries and their boundaries are like, I don't know, super huge. And I kind of also like that makes me wonder what Sif asked at first is like, have they done anything specifically to make you feel uncomfortable? And have you
Yeah.
expressed that to them?
Yeah,
Mm.
agreed. Is
Like,
there a
and,
reason?
like-
Is there a deeper reason here?
Right.
that
Like, what's,
discomfort.
like, what, yeah.
Is it trauma based from something else? Is it
Right.
is it specifically related to that person?
Mm.
Yeah.
Especially if they've done something to you, I would communicate that to your partner, your girlfriend, immediately, because then I would definitely, if I was your girlfriend, reconsider the relationship with this other person
Yeah.
if they purposely have made you uncomfortable. But if it's more of just a feeling and they haven't really, and it's more your
Either way, it
perspective.
needs to be, either way, it needs to be expressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be the discomfort stems from I feel like they're kind of a dick to me, or the discomfort could stem from jealousy or insecurity, right? Like that's two very different things. Like one feels like it comes from a place of validity, and another place comes from a place of your own like self-doubt or your own insecurities and things like that, which is a whole nother like something that should be explored, right? I think with a lot of complicated situations like this and intensive feelings, I would consider trying to make sure that you're seeing a therapist, someone who is like familiar with polyamorous relationships and what that is and what that takes. Because that may be able to help you, like more than any one of the three of us are able to help you. Like we're going to give you the baseline, which is communication. Like you need to communicate with your partner how you're feeling.
Definitely, because I'm also a little bit worried that you're asking whether your girlfriend should be more considerate of your feelings. Have you communicated to your girlfriend that this is how you feel, and has she just ignored you?
Yeah, right.
Then
Like
I'm
the way
also a
that's
little bit
worded.
sus about the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, is she like how is she treating you? Is that because if you already brought this up and they just ignored you, I would reconsider
I'm
some. I
I'm the
would
one who wrote the
question
question.
little
Do you want me
things.
to give a little more in depth? Yes, please. Feel free. Feel free to give
Yeah, if
us
you're comfortable.
more insight. You can let us know what you've already communicated. If
Yeah.
you've communicated, if there's any reason why you feel this way. But yeah, in general, to generalize the situation for anyone else, yeah, I think if you're ever in a situation where, and this could just generally be my partner is friends with this person that makes me deeply uncomfortable. Like, it's
That's a
always
common thing.
valid, right? Like, it's always
Yeah.
valid to be able to communicate your feelings. I
Right.
think, I think when it comes down to for anyone, is you need to kind of look introspectively into yourself and say, why am I feeling this way?
Yep.
Right? It's
Monogamous,
always
polyamorous, does not matter.
Mhm.
No. Oh,
And
I can feel like this is taking a while. It's gonna be a long.
it's
Oh, Striker.
it's always valid.
Striker.
Hi,
Okay.
Striker. It's always valid to
Striker.
have feelings. I always want to make that clear. Like, your feelings are always valid. It's a matter of, it's possible to have feelings that stem from personal insecurity or things that maybe shouldn't be affecting you the way that they do. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have those feelings or you should feel bad for having those feelings. It just means you need to evaluate why you have them, and then maybe the action is taken within yourself instead of the action is taken with somebody else, kind of a thing, right? So I think that's kind of like one of the situations to look at. Because I know I've been in situations where I've had partners and I felt uncomfortable with people they were friends with, not
Yeah.
because of jealousy, but because they were pieces of shit. And it was like,
Yep.
They're legit pieces
Yeah.
of shit.
or you like, I don't know, if you've had a partner and they're just like, they're venting to you about like any kind of problem they're having personally with someone else, and you're just like, oh god, I hate seeing you going through this, and like,
Yeah.
and you get to witness that stuff, and you're just like, oh, I don't like this
I
person.
don't like this at all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah,
god,
yeah.
I know
You
this
deserve-
so well, and but sometimes you're also still forced to interact with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or even it's not even your partner's friend, but it's your friend's partner or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, those situations where you have a friendship and
When you are the friend,
yeah.
when you are the friend that is the problem in the relationship. Oh, whoop.
Okay, let's see. The problem started when I flew out and visited her for the first time in person. It was supposed to be our alone time together, but he felt the need to insert himself in the last couple days of my trip. I was having multiple panic attacks just from being around him, probably trauma response from my past. And the thing is, I've tried to establish that I'm uncomfortable multiple times, but she kind of just brushes it off because she really wants her whole polycule to get along and intermingle.
So you can't force that. That
That
is
Yeah.
can be forced.
that is not healthy for you. She can't force that. And you can't force
Yeah.
yourself.
If either of you want to touch on this, I'll wait till after you say anything, and I'll give my 2 cents on this.
Yeah, because he definitely also sounds like he is not comfortable with her or or maybe your partner polymer, like
Polyamory.
yeah. That
Yeah.
sounds like something that should be sorted, because everyone needs to consent, and it doesn't sound like everyone has consented.
So he already overstepped, and we obviously don't know the conversation that they had, basically saying like, hey, we're flying out specifically for alone time, you know, and it's going to be for this many days, you know. That's what, okay, yeah, that's wild. You know, so he's already overstepping boundaries at that point, and then it seems like, because, you know, the girlfriend who is partners with both of you is trying to mediate things, but also kind of seems like she's trying to just force you guys to get along. And if
Yeah.
there's not clear and open communication amongst the three of you, like that's not gonna work.
No, because I could also see the way you worded it. It could actually also not be that he inserted himself. It could also be that your girlfriend did
Invited
not
him.
invited him because she wants to force you guys to mingle.
Yeah.
But you don't know that. Like, I don't know if you asked her that. Like, because he could not know. He might not have known that it was supposed to be your alone time.
Yeah.
But I don't know from this like this
Yeah,
this
from
this
that
is all
one
your point of
message.
view. Yeah, we know, like, we don't know his point of view, but
Which is
I would also
again,
like to get his eyes on it. That's why I'm like, I don't know how in polyamory it's like overstepping your partner's boundaries to talk to their partner. How
Yeah.
much that is a problem. But
well, I mean, it's pretty common for like the partners to all get along because typically, at least from like my own, like not my own personal experience, from what I've seen, that there's usually a conversation between the original couple to add a third. Like there's usually some semblance of conversation, and usually that partner is in agreement when they go to pursue somebody else. In that sense, and yeah, but like, and like amongst that, I feel like there should be, it's you know, it's not uncommon for them to be friends, but if there's this case where people are disrespecting, you guys are disrespecting each other's boundaries, and there's not very open communication amongst the three of you, then like it's like I'm gonna say it, y'all need a roundtable meeting right now, like to actually air out these grievances because
or at least
Yeah.
your girlfriend needs to be much more open about what is
Yeah.
being said, because who is the one who's disrespecting someone's boundaries? Is it her, or is it actually
him.
him? If he is disrespecting your boundaries on purpose, then of course he's a douchebag. But if he's not in the know-how are, then it's also a little bit hard for him to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I will bring up and I will ask you, because you phrase this as I see myself as polyamorous instead of I'm polyamorous. I have
That's a kicker.
I have interacted or, had conversations with several people who are in situations where they're like, I've been flirting with someone or I've started talking to someone and I really like them, but they're poly and in a relationship. And the person is not really poly when they go into that situation, and they end up getting attached to someone because the person who's poly is very open and very like, affectionate and
Yep.
doing all that stuff to like attract them and make that connection. But then there's that disconnect there, and I've seen people say, well, I guess I can try being poly, and one of the answers like might be in the situation that you're just not as comfortable with that situation as you thought. And
Yep.
this may not be the relationship for you, right? Let me see what you said. We established my boundaries before the trip. He asked her if he could come over when I was there and asked me if I was okay with it. And she seemed to really want me to meet him. And it made me feel bad considering saying no, so I just swallowed my feelings. I think it's a complicated situation. I think that in a relationship, there's give and take, right? And it can't always be just about you. It has to be a give and a take in that situation. So if it's really important for her to meet you, I think you making the effort was a good move.
Yes.
I think it is a bit unfair to expect like I just never want to meet them, and if I think it's only unfair if it's really important to her. Then I think it comes down to incompatibility potentially, right? Because you can have needs and she can have different needs, or you can have desires and she can have different desires, and ultimately you're both valid. It just means there's incompatibility there, and that sucks. But sometimes it just is what it is. I've had multiple partners at once, and my feelings for her are so strong that I haven't really felt the need to look for another partner recently. Yeah, I understand that. I ultimately, though, think as difficult as that is, I think that you should evaluate this situation, because it's not, if you're having an issue with their partner, it's not fair for you to ever expect or hope that that partner maybe just disappears. And I'm not saying that that's what you're saying or anything like that, but if there's an issue with that partner and they're a partner, like, they're just a part of that equation, and it's never going to go away, and it might lead to more complications. So I feel like the only real issues, or the only real resolutions are, yeah, if you're not already seeing a therapist, I absolutely recommend that you see a professional that can help you work through like the mental on this. But also just, it feels like you have to work towards putting yourself in a situation where you can overcome trauma and stuff to become at least receptive in situations. Like, you don't need to be best friends or anything like that, but if that is the relationship, it feels like, you know, that's important to your girlfriend. Yeah. It's important that you two are able to interact in a way that, because it's going to cause her stress, right? Knowing that she wants to be in a relationship with you, but you have an issue with him, that's going to cause her stress, and that's going to take a toll in the relationship, that either one or the other or both, right? So again, as someone who's not poly, I can't relate in that situation, but communication is super, super, super key. But also the hardest thing, which is poly or not, any relationship, knowing that sometimes, as nice as things can seem, when it's I love everything about them except, sometimes that except is strong enough to mean that your relationship's incompatible, and you just need to find someone else who doesn't have that except, right? My gut is, if you're not getting along, it's not a good idea. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, agreed. But that's more in that case, I was setting like this her stand, like her needs. She's kind of trembling on your needs and boundaries, I feel, in that regard, by trying to force you to meet each other. Like, I also feel from his perspective, it could just be, oh, he actually really wants to meet the other person's partner, because he's also interested. He could actually be interested in actually just meeting you and getting to know you. But if you're, but again, I don't know that. We don't know that. But but
yeah,
still,
are there deeper behind it?
Yeah, are there deeper layers? Was it like when you met, was he like coming onto you and trying to like insert himself in a relationship aspect? Like, I'm wondering, are there other things that like are uncomfortable there? Because that's obviously a huge red flag.
That's another can of worms.
Yeah, that's like, if that's not something you're looking for or whatever, that's not something that should be there. Yeah, but ultimately I think communication and knowing that if you had a boundary that was established and talked about, and then your girlfriend broke that boundary, potentially not the last time that's going to happen. So again, just goes down to that. I hate to be that person, but reevaluation of whether this is the right relationship for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes someone can seem so amazing except for blank, and then that's just, you're not going to get rid of that. So
yeah,
or potentially you might not get rid of that.
Remember, or if she tries to overstep again, just try and be more assertive and just say no. It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Especially if you're dealing with something that might be a trauma, you can easily say to her, "Oh, I'm really not comfortable with this, but I will," like, you can also compromise and be like, "But I will try and work on it on my own, but it will take time. So not right now." Like, you should have time to deal with whatever this is with a professional, and then maybe later you can try and reintroduce this person again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a complicated situation, and I think you should definitely make sure that you talk to a professional about anything. If it is something that you're going to keep doing, talk to a professional for sure about it and get a professional opinion. And communicate. communicate with your
Yeah.
girlfriend everything that you feel and see what you can do. Never came on to me. There's also a lot of weird stuff like boundaries he put in place where she wasn't allowed to have full intercourse with me while I was visiting because they're both bottoms and he gets jealous in that way. Okay.
Oh.
It sounds like there are more
Layers.
issues. Yeah, more
Yeah.
layers
A lot of
and,
layers.
and boundaries and things like that. I think it's tough because I think one of the things to look at too is like in poly situations, you, from my understanding, you were the new addition to an already existing couple.
Yeah.
So as much as there always wants to be this perfect sense of balance in a polyamorous relationship, sometimes there's not, you know? And in this situation, there's something pre-established there. And as much as you like this girl, yeah, it may not be the best thing for you. You know what I mean? Like they're, yeah. Sorry, I hope I'm not dumping too much. No, I mean, we're asking, right? Like we would tell you.
No, yeah, we're
just
asking
gonna
these
move on,
questions.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we want to know more. Because especially because we're all not polyamorous, so you're getting all these answers from non-polyamorous people. You probably
Getting
get a
answered from
different
3
answer.
monogamous VTubers.
Yeah, you probably get a different answer if you actually ask your community, which I would also recommend you doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably poly forum somewhere where I would also raise this question because they might see it differently.
Yeah, there are also. Do you know Willow, Trickster Fae? Because here, let me give a. Does this work? Why is it mine in caps? Did that shout out? Okay. Just because I know you said you were trans femme, I don't know if you know Willow. If you don't know Willow, you should absolutely check out Willow. She is a trans streamer. She is poly. She has a lot of experience with this kind of stuff, and she does her basic stream that she runs, not just like a weekly like me, but her basic stream is basically Trans 101, she calls it, and you can ask any kind of questions you want to that fit into, you know, trans identity, but also like poly stuff. So I think that it would be really good for you to pop over there and get some insight. And Willow is always like open for questions, and you can just, you know, say, hey, I have a question, it's a little complicated situation, I was wondering if I could share with you, and you could give me your advice. But Willow is a really good friend of mine, and I know that she would give you really, really good advice that might be more insightful, at least experience wise, than what we can say. But yeah, absolutely think that would be a good place for you to also ask about this. I was hoping to stay anonymous too, because I'm afraid of this getting back to her somehow and upsetting her. I mean, I have no idea who anyone else is, so I wouldn't stress too much.
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
And honestly, like, yeah, no one here knows who your partner is or what the situation is. And ultimately, here's the thing to consider: if that happened, if your partner found out that you were seeking advice because you were uncomfortable and they were upset at you, that's another red flag, right?
That's it. Yep. That's almost a get out of jail free card. It's like, I was looking for a way to approach this with you, and I got into other things, and I still kept things rather anonymous. Like, nobody knows who you are. Why are you getting this mad?
Yeah. I can understand getting upset that they were like, oh, why were you not comfortable talking to me? Because they could be confused about that. But if they get downright angry, then yeah.
Yeah, that's a red flag if that's the situation. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's a hard situation. I think you should give yourself credit for trying to figure out the right solution to this. Is there wiggle room where you can try to be more understanding or flexible? Sure. But do they also have to be understanding and flexible with your needs? Yes.
Absolutely.
Right? Everyone in a relationship, whether it's a poly relationship or whether it's, you know, not a poly relationship, everyone needs to be understanding and respectful of each other. And that's the only way those things work, right? Like, the only way that a poly relationship works is if everyone is respectful of everyone else, and it works. And you can't force things, right? You can't force things. You have to make sure that you just get lucky. It's hard enough to find a single person that you can mesh with, you know? Like in a polyamorous relationship, to have everything line up where you get along with multiple partners and all the other partners get along with everyone else, like, it's tough sometimes, right? It's not impossible, but it involves a extra amount of communication, right? She got upset when she found out I was venting about her boyfriend to my close friends because she thought I was gaslighting them into thinking he's a bad person. So that became a new rule that I'm currently breaking. Not to okay.
Oh boy.
I will say, as the layers come off, it sounds like, as much as you may love this woman, it sounds like there are some toxic elements in this relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what other way to put it. I've been in that situation too, with the like, what? I
They're
don't want
so
you talking.
lovely. Yeah.
I don't want you reaching out to other people and talking to people and doing that. Like, you know, how dare you do that? And then I get shamed for like wanting to communicate my feelings or ask advice or anything like that. So that is a giant red flag. I would say, generalized, you deserve better than having been told that situation. Every person does. That it's I would approach things delicately. I would say, and I don't even know if that's the right thing to say. I like how to communicate what I'm saying. I carefully is what I mean. I would approach what you do with yourself carefully and with a lot of self-respect. Sometimes it's hard, but sometimes the hardest things are the things that we need to do. So I would just reevaluate and make sure that it's worth it, because as hard as and heartbreaking as it can be to like break up a situation that you don't want to be in, it might be the best thing for you, because there are just tons of people, you know, that are more I'm struggling to think of the word, but like, you'll find someone else who might be a better fit for you and not be forcing you to like make yourself comfortable. Yeah. Should I ask? No, please don't ever go and ask something on someone else's behalf. Let someone else do something like that. Never something you should do.
Manipulative, to say the least.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything.
I think we gave that advice.
Yeah,
I would say, I'd say like the rest of the layers unpeeling and like kind of just coming off. I think Marina said it best. Definitely seek a therapist when it comes to this, because they'll be able to unpack and how to process the feelings that you are having, and be able to properly validate your own feelings. Because it seems like that's not happening a lot in your relationship, and that's not okay.
Yeah. Either way, I want to say it's hard to make these decisions.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you have a lot of people in your life that love you and care about you and will be there for you to support you in making these hard decisions, right? Whether, you know, you decide one thing or the other. Personally, because you're here for our advice, I'm going to tell you, this sounds like something that I think you should distance yourself from. As much as you may like this person, it sounds like the potential hurt and the potential manipulation and toxicity that's kind of coming out is not worth the feelings of validity that you might get, or self-worth that you might get from this relationship, because you can find that in other places. And I want the best for you. You know, like I want everyone to make sure they're making the best decisions possible for themselves, even if they're the hard ones. You know, you'll always have a place here. You'll always have people that support you here. And I know that in your life, you have other people, other friends who are going to be there for you. And you'll find people, you know, there's, as they say, there's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of tuna in the coochie. You can find,
Oh my god.
you can find someone for
Plenty
you.
of coochie. There's plenty of tuna in the coochie.
I can't believe I made this to tuna stream. I swear.
Of course, I was literally thinking as soon as you like, they always say plenty of fish in the sea. I was like, oh no, here it comes. I'm like, here we go, back to tuna.
It all comes back to tuna. Yes.
That's the new phrase, gamers. It's there's plenty of tuna.
There's plenty of tuna in the coochie.
Marina, okay, listen, Striker, you weren't here. Just suffice to
you
say,
missed a story.
Suffice to say, you should not put tuna in your coochie. All right. How are we feeling? Anyone need a break? Water break? Bathroom break? Anything like that?
Still have plenty of water.
I'm out of water, so I might need to just grab one. But it's not even gonna be 5 minutes. Like it'll literally be 30 seconds. You can
Sure. Go.
right back
go
in like
take one.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can crawl under the desk if you want to.
Oh, I do that often,
Oh,
actually.
She's just gonna take a nap here. That's okay. That's okay.
I crawl under the desk a lot. That's
Yeah,
because
you can move over a little bit, and she can rest her head on your shoulder.
Oh, that's so cute. Wait, that's... Oh, wait. I need to... Which way is it? It's the other way, I think.
Oh, no. Yeah, don't worry about the mirror on the Discord or anything like that. But
There.
oh yeah, perfect. There you go. Aw, can we get some awes in chat? Aw. Oh wait, where's my soundboard? I swear one of these.
You have an...
Aw. Yeah, there we go. Someone take a picture. Yeah, someone take a picture. And the wholesome. What do you mean it's lewd? Nothing's lewd.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to. Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you. Your who made the sound for your sound alerts? Or not sound alert, but the alert box. Yeah,
Most of them are Cottontail VA. And then some of them are VL. Like that's lewd. That was virtually lewd. That's VL.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
But my
cute.
follower is Cottontail. My sub is Cottontail. My bits is virtually lewd. Yeah. Yeah. We were giving you a little pillow to rest on while you were napping.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, you could just crawl under the desk and you already booked it. I was like, and then you went into like this little cute little sleepy nap mode. I was like, that's cute. We'll
I'm so sorry.
No.
It's okay.
I'm like, I'll be really quick. I just gotta go get water.
You can sleep standing. It's okay.
Yeah, sleep standing up.
Thank you for the bets. I appreciate it.
It's things you learn as a sending truck.
So it's been about 2 hours. So I feel like we can take a few more questions and then we'll call it if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Sound okay? Okay. I know you've Sif, you've gotten barely any sleep. Again, like can we get some appreciation for both Sif and Truck for being here, especially when it's
it's
late
for you.
It's so late for both of them. Yeah, it's almost 3 a.m. for Truck, and it is what, like 8 a.m. now for you?
It's
Past
8 a.m. Yeah. Yay.
And Sif got a very, very well rested hour and a half of sleep to be here. So
I'm gonna go sleep afterwards, probably.
Yeah, I hope you do.
Lovers for being here.
Oh my gosh. Hashtag Team Tuna.
Plenty of tuna in the coochie.
I'm just so happy that none of you have been like oh, it must be a story for yourself. And I'm like, oh, thank you, God. No one has not misunderstood because I really
No,
don't
no, no,
like the
no.
story.
Yeah.
No.
I just think it's funny to share with people.
It's very funny.
Okay.
Tuna-chan.
Oh no, not
No.
Tuna-chan.
Oh my God. We need.
Oh God. You know it's coming. You know the artwork is coming for Tuna-chan.
I can't believe Coochie Tuna needed to be permitted. That's
It's Automata.
enough Joel in the Coochie. Leave Joel out of this.
Wait, why is Joel being mentioned? Joel?
Because Joel is one of the best 7TV emotes. It's just a fish spinning.
Oh, the spinning
Oh.
fish. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
spinning fish.
Dude, there's so many Joel emotes. Alpha
gosh.
Aniki and I have found so many, and they are absolutely wonderful. Tuna-chan with that excellent fishy smile.
Yeah, you can
That's
do
gonna be my Halloween costume this year.
you can do scratch
as
and
a
sniff
tuna?
stickers for merch too. That'll be so good. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. We can take another couple. Okay, so this one is one that I can answer if anyone has any suggestions or things they can pop into. This one is, I'm a trans woman in the closet with a conservative family. How can I explore myself without outing myself by accident? I feel like I have a lot of trans people in my community, so if anyone wants to throw out stuff in chat, feel free. If you have any experience for how you personally navigated exploring yourself or expressing yourself when you were not in like a safe space to do so openly IRL, feel free to give us any advice here of your own.
Coming to Marina's streams. 100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say finding so I have never been in a situation where I could not be open about who I am.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, no, I'm lucky. I'm lucky that my family has supported me, and generally people around me, friends, coworkers, stuff like that, were all supportive of me. I was very lucky in that sense. How can you explore yourself without outing yourself by accident? So I think the biggest thing, is finding a community on the internet where you can start exploring being that key. That's what you're able to do, right? Like, you're able to have your persona online, which is an extension of you,
Mhm.
be feminine, be like everything that you want it to be, right?
Being called by your preferred pronouns.
Exactly.
By the people you meet in the community, being like, oh
Absolutely.
yeah, having your pronouns. I know a lot of people who there's so many like trans or just some sort of LGBTQ VTubers out there, because like VTubing, which is kind of an extension of the online communities, like, is a way for people to express themselves in a way that is safe, in a way that allows them to do so, have an outlet to do so. So
Like,
whoever's
you
writing
don't
this,
have to become a VTuber. You can also just have an OC made, like have a design made.
Like a PNG or
Yeah.
profile picture.
that was another thing that I was gonna say. Yeah, is like creating something, finding an artistic outlet like that, something that you can do. VR chat. You know how many people
Oh, yeah.
use you know how many people use VR chat and are able to communicate with people that are exploring their queer or trans identities. Like, VR chat is potentially a really good one. As with anything on the internet, you got to be safe. But there are so many like trans communities specifically on VR chat. And I know tons of people who are trans and who are VTubers now, who before VTubing was really a thing, they lived in VR chat, because VR chat was like that outlet before VTubing, to be able to have like a I say physical manifestation, but you know what I mean. It's a virtual physical manifestation of you. Yeah, in a body that you want, like expressing yourself the way that you want. Now, without outing myself on accident, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're just hanging out online in a VR chat avatar and someone sees you, like, you're just playing a video game, smile. Like, you know, like,
Wink, wink.
yeah. I
Wink,
mean,
wink, nudge, nudge. I'm just playing a video game.
and
Smile.
it becomes harder when you're like things like, oh, I want to communicate, but I want to like use my feminine voice or whatever, and you're like, I don't want anyone to hear me. Okay, I understand that's tougher. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people too just use VR chat as mutes. They don't communicate. They don't use their mics. There's actually a lot of accessibility now in VR chat to be able to have like text chat boxes that like pop up for you and communicate your messages if you don't want to use voice. Because of safety reasons or whatever it might be. But yeah, I would personally, and hopefully if this person is here in chat, or if anyone, you know, is, because I know this is a very common question for people when they start kind of discovering their trans identity. It's like, how do I explore it? What do I do? Where do I start? Because it can be so overwhelming. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful to someone, and yeah, just trying to find those communities, whether they're communities on Discord. I will say, if you're someone who's asking this and you're new here, like, pop into my Discord, right? We have a huge trans community in my Discord. We have an LGBTQ channel where people can ask specific questions related to you know, identity or anything like that. Everyone is extremely friendly, and it's just a good community. I highly recommend it if you're not in the Discord and you know, you're looking for that, or even if you're not trans and you just want a good place to go, you can do that. Yeah. And here's the place where I shill. If you go to the Rolls channel, you can opt into getting notifications when I go live. Smile.
Hey, smile.
But yeah, either way, even if it's not, even if you're not interested in that, if you want to join my Discord because of the community, you know, and it's your first time here and you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch your streams, Marina, but like, look, I don't care as long as it helps you personally. Like, that's my goal with streaming and creating my Discord community, was to create a place that is helpful to people, and allows everyone to feel welcome and heard and loved, because I think everyone deserves that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, any other tips or anything that might come to mind to you too for like how to explore an identity without outing yourself?
Since I never really had to hide myself like that,
Yeah.
in that regard, I'm more like, I have my hobby, but I'm like very open about my hobby.
Yeah.
Or I didn't used to be when I was like a teenager. It's always, but
Yeah.
now I'm like, doesn't really care. My parents also have to just live with that I am a squirrel on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would just say that like having an online community that supports you is more like the fact that you can feel more love from people on the internet that you've never met in person, perhaps, or maybe, you know, if you one day get the chance to. It's a very unique and wonderful experience, and I hope that you get to find that. I personally may not have had to hide something like that. I've actually been pretty open about, like, you know, me being like in the LGBT community. Maybe not as trans, but you know, I think it's an absolutely wonderful thing that if you get to experience having something online. And Marina is a wonderful person to talk to, and there were some other like streamers and people in the community that she's even talked about that could be wonderful resources for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great streamers. I mean, even in VT Rainbow, between Nia, or Makari, like, they both have really great communities where you can find a lot of people who might be in similar boats and are extremely welcoming. And anyone, I mean, everyone is welcoming. It's just if you're looking for someone to connect with on the level of also being a trans streamer, you know, Nia or Makari are both great people to check out. And you're all obviously always welcome here to come hang out. Yeah, lots of people. I threw out Willow earlier too. Willow is not a VTuber. Willow is a face cam streamer, but just Willow is such a fantastic member of the trans community on Twitch and just does really, really great stuff. And specifically when you have questions or you're looking for support in a really like heavily trans-centric stream, Willow's your girl, right? Willow's where you can check stuff out in addition to other people. Yeah. I think finding an online community is definitely important. And then the other thing, just the final kind of note on this is, if you are in the closet with a conservative family and you are like physically there, I would make sure you do everything you can. It is really hard sometimes. I know what it's like struggling with, maybe you struggle with mental health or something, and being in these situations is never easy. And so sometimes it's hard to do some of the things that we need to do for ourselves. I will say, as much as you can, find that motivation. Try to prioritize everything you can do to get yourself out of those dangerous situations. Because, yeah, like it's going to make you happier. It's going to make you healthier. That's just something you want to do. And obviously it's easier said than done. You can't just be like, well, just get up and walk away, forehead. Like, that's obviously not what works out for everybody.
Right.
But yeah, that being said, definitely know that whatever motivation you can give yourself to try to take those steps, even if it's just literally one step at a time. If it seems like it's 50 steps away, you going from being where you are now to living on your own or being in a safe space, one step at a time. And eventually you'll take those 50 steps, right? Like, yeah, just do what you can. Having people around you that understand you and care about you is important. Yeah.
I know that we care about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to take you want to take another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Silence.
I'm looking. There's a lot.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a lot have
There's
been
a lot
added.
of. Oh yeah, that's right. You were saying like there were like
recently.
60 plus
71
questions.
Yeah, 71 questions.
Wow.
Ooh.
There's a lot.
Sometimes your real family isn't blood. I can attest to that because I'm adopted.
All right. Okay. So I'm trying to set up time to hang out with someone I'm trying to get to know, and they always say they're busy, which is obviously not a problem. But it's happened the past 12 times I've texted them, and they haven't texted me first. I'm worried that they just don't want to hang out with me, and they don't want to say that to my face. Do you think that's the case?
I kind of don't want to say. I kind of want to say yes. I mean, but I also know people who are legit that busy.
Yeah.
Where it's like hard. It's hard.
It's a tough tell.
Yeah. But if they never reached out to you, then it could also be that they're too busy and really not in a state where they can reach back. Like it's not that they are not interested, they just don't have the mental capability right now, like to make new friends.
Yeah.
I have said to someone that were like, oh, I really want to get to know you. And I was like, sorry, I really can't bring in more people right now because I was very overwhelmed because so many people popped out. And I suddenly have so many people that I was in contact with at the same time. I was like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, I really can't bring another person in. And in that regard, I'm not afraid to say that, but I know a lot of other afraid to say that to other people to hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
So I would say 12 times is a lot, though.
Yeah, I agree. 12 times is a lot. I think there's a couple of things it comes down to. Number one, yeah, I mean, for me personally, if I reach out to someone like 3 times and they've said no, I'm probably not reaching out again. If they want to hang out, it was something else, like they can reach out to me. And if not,
Right.
then it is what it is. I think what it comes down to is you have put in the effort to message this person many times,
Mhm.
and they just aren't at the same level of your effort, even close to it. So you shouldn't be putting your effort into this person when
Yeah.
you might find someone else, and you don't know. Ultimately, here's the truth: not everyone vibes with everyone else, and
True.
this person just may not be interested in hanging out with you, and that's okay. Not everyone is, you're not entitled to be friends with everyone, right? Like no one is obligated to be your friend or to spend time with you, and at the end of the day, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone might want to be friends with you, but there are other people who would want to be friends with you. So it's just try not to put yourself in a situation where you're asking 12 times. Like, limit yourself. Also, like, the other question that it makes me think of is, did you ask the last 12 days in a row or something? Because in
And it
general, when
might
you're
not have
asking someone,
changed.
space things out. And
Mm.
I know for me, if someone was like, "Hey Marina, do you want to do something?" and I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't," and then the next day they're like, "Hey Marina, do you want to do something?" I'm already like, "Oh, you just asked," and I said no, like I still can't.
Yeah.
And then they asked me the next day.
Yeah.
By like that third time, I'm telling you, I'm already like, "Oh no, I'm not." Like I
We're
feel
not
like
gonna
if
be
you
able to do anything
actually
the next month.
got a response 12 times, like good on them. Like I personally, I probably would have stopped responding. Because I just would have been like, I don't understand why this person like doesn't know I just understand I'm busy right now, right?
Mm.
They just revealed themselves in chat. I'm the guy who wrote the question. It was once every week every week and a half over 4 months.
Yeah, that's a no. That's a
Sorry,
no. That's
That's a
I
no.
would just give up.
yeah.
Yeah, I would have given up
either way,
after
it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. After the first month, I would probably
Yeah.
give it up.
Yeah.
And
It's
sorry, go for it, Chuck.
No, I was just gonna see like if there was also never like if this is somebody that you kind of like talk to regularly over like be it like online or something like that, like if you it's one of those things if they don't if you think that it's kind of that thing, honestly, asking the question like, hey, is this just not working? Like sometimes that can just like because like for me I'm somebody that like if you don't like me you gotta tell me to my face because I don't take hints very well.
Yeah.
Because I like it's one of those things where it's one side or the other. I'll either assume that nobody wants to hang out with me, or I'll just assume that like, oh, this person, they never told me that they were annoyed by me, so I'm just gonna keep talking to them or keep bothering them.
Yeah.
And so that might be the case. Having that conversation, even if it does like hurt to hear that somebody doesn't want to hang out with you, it's honestly better after like that second or third time. But 12, I mean, like that is so much, and that like that hurts. I feel like you're only gonna if you keep trying to pursue that person, then
Mm.
it could just lead to more heartache because then it's
Yeah.
unrequited and one-sided, and it's just it never yeah. And I agree with Win. It's easier knowing even if it hurts.
Yeah.
Were you
'Cause
friends
then you are able
before?
to move on. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
were
good
you friends
question.
before and stopped hanging out, or was this like someone you met? You're like, oh, I really want to hang out with this person.
Yeah, if they're a new friendship or not.
Kind
Yeah.
of a thing. That also has
That's a good context to have.
yeah.
Because I would also say
You
that
just wanna make a
on the
friend?
on the third try, you can also always play the ball back to them because they say they're busy, but I'm also like, okay, what
When are
if
you
you
free?
when are you free? Give me a specific date, and I don't care if it's 2 months in the future, if that's how busy you are. Like,
And yeah, and if you're just trying to make a friend at that point, then and they're still not putting in that effort to be friends with you, like especially I feel like after 12 times, this person it's like, "Hey, I actually do have a crazy schedule. Let me tell you the days that I'm free.
yeah.
Can we schedule something in?" Yeah, that's
Mm.
huge. That's a good question.
it's either that they're too busy, or it's that they're not interested in a
They're
friendship.
not interested.
And that's okay. And
Yeah.
I would either say walk away, or here's the thing. And I asked, like, were you friends before? Because this is important. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you were friends before, then I think that opens you up to being able to ask, hey, did anything happen? Did I do something? Because
Yeah.
it feels like maybe I did something that upset you. I don't know if I'm just overthinking things, but I just wanted to at least ask so that you could tell me, so I could try and fix it, right? Or make up for it, or whatever, right? Like,
Mm.
you can ask that question, right? Now, if you were not friends before, I would say just drop it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, like, it's not a did I do anything? It's just a matter of they're not interested, probably.
Yeah.
And
That's very most likely the case. That's very likely the case. And there are also some people that are genuinely just so busy that like they don't have time to add another friend to their circle
Yeah.
because of so many things going on in
That-
real life.
oh god, yeah, that's true too. Like, I have so many people that I'm friends with on Discord. I have so many connections and so many people that I want to hang out with and want to be friends with, that when I get, for example, like a random DM on Twitter from someone who is trying to be nice, and they're trying to be like, hey, Brenda,
Yeah.
I really like your content. I'm a VTuber too. I hope we can be friends? In my mind, I'm just like, I don't really know you. I have no connection with you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm sure you're a lovely person, but I just can't, right? Like, and a lot of the time I don't even say that stuff. Like, and that's just for like protective reasons, because you learn this in like Twitter DMs. Once you respond to someone, like, it sometimes it
stays there.
unleashes like a whole thing, yeah, where it stays there and people just like message you over and over and over and over again. Yeah, but yeah, what I'll put out there is, if you want to try to get to be friends with someone, like, I don't know what it is, but like, I don't know how you met this person. Like, there's a whole bunch of different things that could, be dependent on this. I don't know how you met this person.
Yeah.
I don't know what the situation is. Because I know a lot of like VTubers ask me specifically, like, how do I network? How do I make friends in VTubing? And what I always tell people is just go hang out with them, go to their streams, get to know them, interact with them on Twitter. Like,
Yep.
try to create an action. Like, don't try to be friends with them. Just see if you become friends. Let it happen naturally, right? Like, interact with each other, kind of thing.
I want to add to the thing that I said about this person that reached out and I rejected them. They just entered my Discord DMs not long ago, because they took the time a whole year, and they started visiting me a lot, and I became more open to it because I was like, oh, this person is actually really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can happen, but it also takes time, especially when the one person is just not in the right mindset. You can either drop it, or you can put, like, even though this person put effort into it, it's not like she was desperate or anything. She just actually came with a very nice intent to hang out in my streams because she liked hanging in my streams. And that's also, that is very nice.
Yeah. And I will put something else out there. It's not directly related to this question, or not something you're asking, but like, I also want people to know that and this goes for like relationships too, like, you ask somebody out, or you ask somebody to be friends or whatever, and they say no, or they don't seem interested, or they ignore you, but then you see them like interacting or becoming friends with someone else new, like, that has nothing to do with you. That is never something to take personally. Like, remember, no one is obligated to have any friendships, whether it be with you or anyone else. And stuff is just complicated. Sometimes people are in mindsets where they're just not looking for new friends, and they are not open to that. And then something just clicks, something just happens. It feels very natural, and it just works that way, right? So I think stuff's complicated. But I think that the point is, for anyone, like, don't spend like that much of your effort on someone who's not giving you effort back, right?
Yep.
Just don't do it.
Yep.
Right? Because there are other people that you could be putting your time and effort into, especially if you already have pre-existing friendships that you could be furthering. Yeah. All right, we want to do one more.
Oh, hello, Raiders. Hi.
Kurama, hello, welcome on in. How's it going? How's it going? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much
Ooh,
for the
yes,
raid. I
enjoy
really,
art.
really appreciate it. You doing art? Were you making a new amazing model? Yeah.
Ooh.
Congratulations, by the way. I don't know if y'all know. So Kurama, if you've been around in my community for a while, actually made the really thick, nice bikini model that I used to use. Back in the
Oh.
like summertime and early
Wow.
fall. Yeah, I love that model. Yeah, and Kurama actually just won the grand prize in the Live 2D Awards.
That's so exciting.
Yeah,
Really?
super amazing.
Oh my god. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So thank you
Thank you,
so much for
Shay.
coming by and sharing your community with me. I really appreciate that. I hope you are having a really amazing stream. Yeah. We're doing our weekly relationship advice and sex ed streams. Yeah, so we're taking on, I think, we're gonna do one more question before I let my guests escape, and then I go on to do something else. But yeah, well, come on
We
in.
are
Hopefully you
definitely not hostages. No.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoy your time here. Thank you so much. Let me know how you were rigging. All right, yeah, let me know how it was. I hope you had a great time. And thank you for coming in. Don't feel obligated to stick around. Please go get some rest or food or drink or anything you need to do, but you're welcome to hang out as long as you want to. Yeah, thanks. All right, one more.
I hope you like tuna.
Oh no.
Because you're not gonna after this stream.
No.
Are you good for one more?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay. Not the relationship ones. I really like these relationship ones.
They're really nice.
Especially like the poly one where it was like none of us really have we can offer a different insight without having the experience kind of thing. All right, so I feel like this is similar to I've never had an asexual partner, so how do you navigate an asexual partner? I'm comfortable with not having sex frequently, but the feeling of being inadequate in the relationship is starting to hurt. I've spoken to them about this before, and they assure me it isn't me. Is there a way to alleviate this feeling? Anyone want to take this?
Wait, from this question, it sounds like the asexual partner is willing to have sexual relations, but it doesn't do anything for them. Because it sounds like they do have sex, even though the other person is just not into it.
I don't know. Twinborn, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. I don't know if it is. I mean, we can look at both potential aspects.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether it's they are having sex or they're not having sex. Yeah, I don't know if the inadequacy is my partner doesn't want to have sex with me, or the inadequacy is we have sex, but it doesn't do anything for them.
Yeah, and that hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like this person is kind of more of a giver in that nature, and then they're not seeing any sort of quote unquote satisfaction from their partner.
Yeah.
And that can sometimes be a kick to the gut, but I don't know. It's just not. It genuinely isn't.
It's not really
I can
you.
answer any questions. This was mine.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Are you okay? Cool. Thank you for being willing to feel free to preemptively just give us any information you think we might need as extra stuff. But I would like to ask, are you having sex? Is that a thing that is happening? Or did you what? Can you explain the inadequacy? Was it inadequacy in respect to the actual sex, or was it inadequacy in respect to not having sex?
Or the desire, them not having the desire to have it.
Yeah.
Did you know your partner was asexual before you went into a relationship? Was this something that was discovered afterward? Because that's something, right? I know plenty of people who are asexual who didn't know, right? They were just I thought sex was something that people just didn't really enjoy, right? Hi, Willow.
Willow. We were talking about you earlier.
We were talking about you, Willow.
Yeah, we talked about you.
we oh
No,
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 why? No, it was a
why?
good thing. It was a good thing. Yeah, Willow, I think you know I've been doing this relationship advice and sex ed weekly stream. Someone had a question earlier here. I'll pop it back up on screen so you can see. But someone was asking about being poly and being uncomfortable with their partner's partner. And yeah, they wanted advice on that situation. It seemed like the situation had a lot of layers to it, and there might have been some toxicity in there, some
Yeah.
stuff that maybe wasn't great with some of the partners. But I said that since I didn't have that background, and none of us here really did, and also, you know, from the trans femme POV, that I said your community and your streams was a great place to go and maybe try to get some insight into that. So if someone comes by and asks you about that, yeah, they might be the same person. But yeah, no, of course, I always value your thoughts and opinions and your advice, and I think that you really do something really wonderful over in your community. So I wanted to share that and make sure people knew that that was a resource for them. Yeah. All right, so where is this?
Cass. This was something that was discovered afterwards.
Okay.
The inadequacy is sort of a mix of my own anxieties of not being sexually attractive. Not being sexually attractive enough, if that makes sense.
So, is this your partner's first ever relationship?
Mm.
And either way, it's like, I was saying this earlier, I think, and then I got excited by Willow. But like, I know plenty of people who are ace who didn't know they were ace. Like, some people just thought like, oh, is sex, maybe sex just isn't enjoyable for me, right? Like, maybe sex just isn't supposed to be like that great for some people. And they didn't really know what was going on. And then it's not until they really start to understand. Like, some people don't even know like what asexuality is, and then they hear that and they're like, oh shit, I think that's me.
Oh,
like,
shit.
I've heard that story so many times. So
No,
sometimes
me.
people just don't know. And there's
Oh,
also
okay.
they've been in many relationships and they were sexually active. So I understand. I think you're valid. Let me put this out there. I think you are absolutely valid to say this makes me feel bad or inadequate because I know that they were sexual with other people. However, just because it's valid to feel that way doesn't mean that the feelings themselves aren't worth exploring to the like reason for it, if that makes sense, right? Like, you shouldn't feel bad that you feel that way. However, you need to figure out how to not feel that way, because it's just not the it's not coming from a place of truth. It's coming from a place of self-doubt, right? It's not coming from your partner. And the thing at the end of the day is, I've said this with other situations too, if you have a partner who's ace, and that's just something that doesn't vibe with you, unfortunately, even if it's someone who you really love, if we all have, you know, sexual needs or lack of sexual needs, whatever our sexual identity is and whatever's important to us, like, if it doesn't align with a partner, sometimes that's not something that, you know, is compatible. It creates an incompatibility, and it might be time to explore that maybe it's best for you two to move on to other people.
Because down the road it can lead to very, I would say, a very hurtful situation for both of you, because they will feel pressured and you will still feel maybe inadequate.
Yeah.
But like, if you can find it in yourself, like if you have the energy and to explore what it is and accept them 100% for who they are, and then there's still hope. Obviously, it doesn't, like, you're asking this question because you actually do really care about this person. I believe you actually do want to find a way to fix this on your end.
Yeah.
I
That
also
is
see
actually a great approach.
somebody in the chat that has some experience in this area. That
Yeah.
are their comments are definitely worth taking a look at.
Yeah, let me see. So, I don't think it's about the fingers of the act. If they're feeling inadequate about not being sexually appealing to an asexual partner, as an asexual with an allosexual partner, I try to help by focusing on the acts I like as opposed to attraction. It's something focused on effort as opposed to something that's supposed to be instinctual. Yeah, I think I think it's we keep talking about communication, you know, as much as we go back to it. It's just like discussing with your partner like how you're feeling. Have you discussed with your partner how you're feeling, right? And you just it's a very sensitive topic. So you want to make sure that you own your own feelings, because at the end of the day, even if it's because of something that your partner is doing, you are the one who is responsible for your feelings in this situation. I just want to put out there. So if you do bring it up, you absolutely want to make sure it's not in any sense where you feel like you are guilting or shaming your partner for not being sexual. Because you have to know that they have the right to never want to have sex, right? And consent is always something that can be taken away at any point. So it could be that y'all had sex all the time, and then, you know, one time they just said, this isn't doing for me anymore, right? And that's valid. It's probably unfortunate if you're someone who is very sexual and it was like a norm in the relationship, and now it's pulled away and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel good. But again, sometimes it just comes down to incompatibility. And there's nothing wrong with finding that it's just part of your needs in a partner and they're not fitting it, and maybe you two are better off with different people. I generally love this person and willing to try to navigate how to make things work. I'm completely accepting of their asexuality. I'm reading every comment, by the way. I'm sorry I'm not replying. No, that's okay. My question comes down to, have you communicated this? And have you explored other ways to find sexual satisfaction if it is not with your partner? You know, because self-pleasure is important for people not in a relationship, but even in people in relationships, like it's healthy to still have your own like relationship with yourself sexually, and understand like, you know, your needs and your wants and how your body works and all that stuff. And yeah, I think it's a matter of communicating that. Like, if you feel like your libido and their libido is not matched up, and you really have needs that you're not getting, it's like some people end up in open relationships and some people are okay with that and some people aren't, you know, and it just comes down to where you want to find that outlet, if you feel like you need that outlet and you both want to keep trying, right? Because you also have to be responsible. Like, both partners have to be responsible, but like, your partner should never be forcing themselves to be sexual when they don't want to be, and you should also make sure that that's not happening, right? Because, you know, you've let us know you genuinely love this person, right? Sometimes it's again, I know I keep saying it, but it's just making sure your needs are aligned and looking at the tough answers or tough decisions sometimes if they don't. From my experience, all my relationships were with allosexuals. That never truly helps. It's not about reassuring you don't experience attraction. It doesn't address the issue. I find that it helps to redirect the attention to appreciating the effort and the things you do. Of course, it's even if that redirection doesn't work, it's just incompatibility. Yeah, it might just ultimately be incompatibility. Because even if you love this person and they've been a partner for you, it's possible you could both find other people that are just better fits, right? We do talk about it occasionally, and we've tried introducing a few things. I think my own feelings are making it a little messy. Yeah. I mentioned this earlier before. If you're not talking to a professional, if you're not talking to a therapist or someone, you should absolutely do that. It helps you navigate your thoughts. It helps give advice from a professional that knows how to deal with things like this.
Super important.
Your partner should also be going to a therapist. I would recommend
Yeah.
and they should be able to voice, how they feel in the relationship and what's happening and stuff like that. Because, yeah, you did. I think that's the most fair and healthy thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing
Any
wrong
other?
with therapy. Therapy's great.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you again that you asking this question says a lot about you and that
Mhm.
you're willing to do a lot of things for a partner. But yeah, so I wouldn't give up, and I would definitely take Marina's advice of therapy. Maybe I not necessarily couples therapy, individual therapy is fine. But if you want to do it together, it could also work.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
like
true.
a couple.
Couples therapy.
Maybe getting a couple sessions if you both are willing to work on it. But definitely
Yeah.
having individual partnered with that is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add on that?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
All right. Well,
Mm.
I think we've done a lot tonight as far as going through questions. So I want to say thank you so much to both of you for being here. I really, really, really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who, has come and asked questions and do all that. If you haven't already, please go check out these two wonderful VTubers, Sif and Truck. There are their links right there on the collab command. Yeah, please go drop a follow on both of their streams, and you can check out the stuff they do. When are you both streaming next?
If everything goes well, it must be tomorrow for you. No, still tonight. No, tonight. It's 1 a.m. my time, so that's CET. 1 a.m. CET on January 1st.
1 a.m. CET, which I think is 4 p.m. PST. And 7 p.m. EST. Yeah, so check out Sif stream. And then Truck, when can we catch you next?
Sunday. I start an uncapped subathon.
Uncapped subathon.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that'll be the next stream, and then it won't end until whenever people say they don't want to see me anymore.
Yeah, whenever people decide to let you go. That's exciting.
Exactly.
Is it your first uncapped subathon?
It is.
Wow, that's extra exciting. Make sure you go
I'm
check
really
out.
Excited.
Yeah, so that means Truck will be streaming forever. So please make sure you stop by her channel sometime. Yeah, and support her. Even remember, you're supporting VTubers even if you just stop by and say hi.
True.
If you're new to the community, let them know you saw them here in the stream. Yeah.
Hell
yeah. Thank you everyone for coming by. So I am going to keep streaming. I'm gonna let them say their goodbyes. I'm gonna take a BRB break, and then I will be back, and we'll chat some more, and then we'll do something else together. Yeah. But yeah,
I
thank you
have
so much.
something for you, Marina.
I'm lost to the tuna dimension. Oh God.
You have something. You have something
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I think so. Am I?
Ah!
Oh my god.
Marina's broken.
I love it. And coincidentally, if you're not in the Discord link is discord.gg/armpits.
Let's go.
Wow, that was a good one. I love it.
That was
I love it so
beautiful.
much.
I just wanted to give you a little something for inviting me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And Truck, thank you too. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's been such a blast. This is a really good. I'm also really amazed at how good questions we got. People asked some really nice questions, and I'm also really happy that everyone is so comfortable asking these questions and also coming out in chat and explaining themselves. Because I was actually so surprised that we actually got some answers from chat, because I was like, oh, these are very personal. Actually, I was like, it's understandable if you did not want to come forward, but yeah, of course, the more we know, the better answers we can give. But it's also understandable if you really want to stay completely anonymous.
Yeah, so we
But
always
yeah,
want to respect anonymity. And we also very much so respect everyone who did, come forward and say, this is my question, and allowed us to, better understand, to give you the best answer we can
Yeah.
give you. Yeah, which, because it helps other people in chat too, who might be in, maybe they're not in the same exact situation, but they might be in similar situations, or sometime in the future they end up in a situation that might be kind of similar, or they have a friend or whatever it might be. It's always helpful, I think. So
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you again. Please make sure, mods, can we get the collab command one more time? Please make sure you go and follow these two lovely VTubers if you haven't already. But yeah, thank you so much. We're gonna go to BRB screen, and then we'll be back. I'll be back in a little bit. All right. Thank
bye
you.
bye, chat.
Bye, chat.